A very good morning to all the participants. We'll start the session in few minutes. We'll wait for participants.
Very good morning to all. So good morning, sir. Brother, sir, very good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
So we'll wait for 5 more minutes. I'll let all of them join. So then we will start the session.
Okay, ma'am. No issues.
Okay, sir.
कोणी काय खाते मामा दुकानी रात्री
So we will start the session now. So Mr. Nagesh, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. So he will give a brief introduction about the speaker. So then later we can start the session. Nagesh sir, you can give the introduction of the speaker.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. First, very good morning to all. I welcome all the participants in behalf of our management, ACS College of Engineering, and the Department of ECE. I welcome the 5-day online FDP program for the day 2, session 4. So let's welcome today's speaker, Dr. Siddhalingappa Gowda Biredar, sir. So welcome, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Right, thank you, sir. We'll give the small introduction about the Dr. Siddhalingappa Biredar, sir. Siddhalingappa Biredar, sir, is currently working as an associate professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Dayanand Sagar Academy of Technology and Management, Bangalore. He has completed 11 years of teaching experience. Previously, he was working in Don Bosco Institute of Technology, Bangalore, from 2011 to 2019. He earned his BE Electronics and Communication from BLDA Dr. PG Halakatti College of Engineering and Technology, Vijaypur, in 2007. He completed MTech in Digital Communication and Network from KLS Good Tech Institute of Technology, Belgavi, in 2011, and PhD from VTU, Vishweshwara Technological University, Belgavi, in 2019, respectively. He has published more than 20 research articles in international conference, proceedings, and journals, awarded with the best paper. Sir is a professional member of IEEE and a life member of INSC, IFERP, IMEAPS, IETE, and ISTE. Sir has conducted more than 35 workshops as a resource person on 5G technologies or network automation and simulations of computer network using network simulator tools across the different engineering colleges within and outside the Karnataka. Sir is a Cisco certified trainer with completions of Cisco DevNet, CCNE and CCNP courses. He has worked as a reviewer for international conference and journal. He has completed NPTEL, Udemy and Coursera courses such as computer network, internet protocol, and bits and bytes of computer networks, introductions to fundamentals of computer network, introduction to IP, TCP, masterclass in 5G technology and network automation, peer-to-peer protocols, and local area networks. Sir has been awarded as Best Teacher Award 2020 from INSC Professional Society and Best Teacher Award 2021 from Dayanand Sagar Academy of Technology and Management, ECE Department, and Academic Excellence Award 2022 from Novel Research Academy, Puducherry. He has recently written a technical book by name Simulations of 4G LTE Network using NS2, which includes computer network laboratory, programs of BE, ECE, TCE, ISE, and CSE, and MTech computer networks branches. He has 2 Indian patents, 2 copyrights, and 1 Australian patent. His current research interests including network automation, 3G or 4G LTE, 5G technologies, mobile HADAC networks, wireless sensor networks related to the quality of service and performance analysis. This was a small introduction about for the today's speaker, Dr. Siddhalingappa Gowda Biredar, sir. I welcome you, sir, for this day 2 session 4 for the 5-day online faculty development program. Now I hand it over this session to the speaker, Dr. Siddhalingappa Biredar, sir. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Over to you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your introduction. Good morning, all. Let's start this session. It's 9:10. I have been given 2 hours of time. So we'll be discussing some part of 5G and hands-on session. So I'll share my presentation. Sir, is it visible?
No, sir. No, sir. It's not. Now it is visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, okay, sir. Fine, we'll start. That's a 9:10, right? It's a time where you people reach to a college or a office, lunchtime, tea time. So fine. So before starting with 5G technology, let's see what is Industry 4.0, because this workshop is mainly concentrated on Industry 4.0. Right. So Industry 4.0, we also call it as fourth industrial revolution, or IIoT, that is Industrial Internet of Things. So technology is changing widely. During this pandemic, we have understood how important the technology is. We have seen online teaching, online shopping, virtual shopping, online marriages, online meeting, chatting, and all. So here, this Industry 4.0, it is nothing but it's a new phase in the industrial revolution that introduce intelligent networking of machines and process for industry with the help of information and communication technology, right? So if you see the the architecture of a industry, so it involves all these latest smart technologies. So if you see there here, it's all about smart technologies, and there is one thing that is missing here is 5G. In order to integrate all these things, right? So all these IT budge, what we call as technology words. So if you want to integrate, you need a good network. Either it may be a wired or a wireless. So you need a network, and that is a 5G, which is going to help for this Industry 4.0. Right. So why? Because the 5G has got certain advantages like enhanced broadband connectivity, which is of up to 20 gigabits per second for downlink and 10 gigabits per second for uplink. Even if you are traveling with a 500 kilometers per hour with a mobility, then you are able to communicate, right? So you have a massive machine communication where millions of devices you can connect within a kilometer, and with a 10 plus years of a battery life, and you have a ultra reliable and low latency services, which is of less than a 10 millisecond, that is a one digit low latency, right? So that's what because of these advantages of 5G, it will surely help to build Industry 4.0. Right. But in India, we are not still using 5G. But when you see other countries like Japan, South Korea, China, so they have come up with a huge improvement in a technology. This is one which I've seen in a LinkedIn recently. So that this shows that Japan recently set a record for the world fastest internet speed at 319 terabits per second. Right. So we are at a megahertz, but you see the other countries. So it means you can download 50,000 movies in 1 second. This is what the technology is. And if you go for the other countries like China and South Korea, US, they are planning to implement 6G in the year 2025 and 26. So China is leading in 6G, especially in a patents, right? Followed by the other countries like Europe, Japan, US, South Korea, and the top 10 countries. If you see the leading countries in 5G connectivity is China, US, South Korea, UK, Spanish, Canada. So these are the countries which are using 5G technology, because, as I said, if you want to have a revolution, or if you want to bring a change in the technology, so we need a good network, right? So but if you see India, it's the good news is that in 2022, India is going to have a 5G network. This is a recent news that was published in India Today, December 28, means last month, wherein which 12 cities are having a 5G network. So Bangalore is one among them. So in India, there were lots of trials were gone through different networks like Airtel, Vodafone, Jio, with different bands of spectrum, 700 megahertz, 3.5 gigahertz, 26 gigahertz of band. And it was a successful trial where they achieved a high speed, right? You can see that it's a 1.2 gigabits per bits per seconds of speed achieved. So in coming days, even we will be having 5G technology in India also, right? So because of this industry 4.0 and 5G technology, there are lots of job opportunities that are coming across. So if you this is one of the news content where it tells that 5G jobs doubled in 1 year in India. Cisco, Ericsson are top recruiters. Lot of opportunities are there in telecom industry, especially in the field of 5G. Right, because they are planning to implement. So when they are planning to implement, then they need a skilled people who work on 5G. So massive IT hiring in next 3 months. So this was published in a newspaper last month, right? So it with a 70 to 120% of salary hike. So this is what the market is. It's a huge opportunities are there. People are having 3 to 4 offers. So if you have a resume with 2 to 3 years of experience in 5G technology, then within 2 hours you are going to get a call that are you interested to join. So such a huge opportunity is there, and this is one statement that I have seen in a LinkedIn by one of the professor and the CEO of uh, training center, right? So what he says that I'm working in a telecom industry from last 20 years using LinkedIn from last 13 years, but never seen so many job posts in my LinkedIn network. Everybody from top management to entry level people are posting their company requirement on LinkedIn and finding it difficulty to fill those positions. Being a telecom training company, he's a CEO of this. The statement written is by Sanjay Kumar. So he's a CEO of a telecom training company. The clients are contacting us to develop some trained resources, but none of them are available. See, the trainers are not there, the skilled peoples are not there, right? So there is a huge requirement for the telecom industry, especially in the field of 4G, LT, and 5G, right? So even in this situation, you are not able to get right job opportunity. There is something wrong either with your skills of or your approach, right? So that is what. So this statement says that there are a huge opportunity. There are no trainers, right? So this tells that how actually the telecom industry badly needed with skilled people. Right. So 5G is nothing but we all know that telecom service provider, Vodafone, Airtel, Idea, Reliance, Jio, BSNL, and all. So these are the one they take money from you people and they provide you a service, right? And uh, if you see the background, the backhaul network, who is going to manage? So these are the some companies that are going to manage the core network of 5G, right? So Qualcomm is there, Verizon is there, Huawei is there. It's not limited to this. So there are many companies are there. Jio is there, Samsung, Manware is there. So Nokia, lot of companies are working behind these telecom like Airtel, Jio, and all. Right. So the five main technologies for 5G is millimeter wave, small cell, massive MIMO, beamforming, full duplexing. So let's see what are these five key technologies that are there in 5G. So 5G never comes with a complete standalone, right? So there are 7 ways of connecting 5G and 4G network. So when they have started 4G LTE, so there was an option of switching from 4G LTE to 3G. Right. Similarly, even in a 5G, we are having that capability. And if you see the 5G layer diagram, they are divided bands into lower band, mid band, and higher band. right? So lower band is nothing but it's a it comes with 700 megahertz mid band. It comes with 3.5 gigahertz dense band, or high band, which we call it as. It comes with 26 to 28 gigahertz. So here, so what is these bands? So what the frequency is? So if you see there here in this spectrum, so if the frequency is increasing, that is from lower band to the higher band, the coverage area is going to reduce. You can see that whenever you are having a low band of frequency communication, then the coverage area will be more. So when you go for high band, especially for 5G, so we call it as a millimeter wave. So why we call the millimeter wave here is because whenever you increase the frequency, obviously the wavelength is going to reduce. So we have a relation called as lambda equal to c by f, right? So as frequency increases, lambda is going to decrease. So the wavelength of a 5G signal will be in terms of millimeter. That's why we call it as a millimeter wave, right? And here as the frequency band increases, the coverage area will be less, as well as the throughput is very high, right? So that is what, if you want to have a high throughput, high efficiency, then you need to have a high frequency, high bandwidth and all. So that's what 5G here. So this arrow mark, you can see that as you keep on increasing, the coverage area is going to decrease. So if coverage area decreases, then the whatever the cell size is there, hexagonal cell size, hope you might have been knowing the hexagonal whole geographical area, they are going to divide into hexagonal structure. In a wireless, if you have studied with the umbrella structure, you'll be knowing what is a hexagonal structure. Right. So here we have FR1 and FR2. FR1 is nothing but frequency 1 and frequency 2.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Lingappa, sir.
Sir.
Slideshow is not on, sir. Still, it is in first slide only.
First slide only.
Yeah, now it is okay, sir.
So this is low band, mid band, and high band. So as the frequency start increasing, then the coverage is going to reduce. Throughput is high because for high frequency you have a high bandwidth, right? And there was a case put by actor. Hope you might be knowing this actor, Julie Chawla. So this she had put a case on in a Delhi High Court saying that so we should not use 5G because 5G is going to affect the human beings, right? So it will affect the environment. But the Delhi High Court dismissed her case saying that you are not having a knowledge of 5G. Why? Because so what the court said that, so they showed this electromagnetic spectrum to her and said that, so 5G is nothing but it's a gigahertz frequency signal, right? So gigahertz is nothing but here if you see 10 to the power 9, so which is less than that of infrared signal. So obviously infrared signal is it is not going to affect visible light, is not going to affect, means the frequency signal, that is 5G frequency signal, is not going to affect the human beings. But when you go for a higher frequency, that is 10 to the power 18, 10 to the power 20 mega X-ray rays, gamma rays, so these are going to affect the human beings, right? So that's what the court has said her, and they have given a penalty of 20 lakhs, right? So you should know the what actually the 5G is there, how actually it is going to work and all, right? And if you come for millimeter wave, right? So millimeter wave is, as I said, so as the frequency increases, wavelength decreases, and wavelength of a 5G signal will be in terms of millimeter. So for frequency of 5G, you have a high bandwidth up to 400 megahertz, high frequency band that is till 300 gigahertz. We call it as a 5G millimeter wave signal. High bandwidth rate we have 20 gigabits per second. Narrow wavelength that is 1 to 10 millimeter, right? A small size antenna you are going to have in 5G, and as I said, the radiations are not going to affect. That's why we call 5G as a non-ionizing radiation spectrum. High performance, right? So obviously, if you are having a high bandwidth, the efficiency will be very high or the throughput will be very high. But there are some disadvantages in this 5G, right? So the first thing, that is main thing, short distance. Short distance, that is the communication range of a millimeter wave which we are using for 5G is just 500 meters, right? So very less coverage area, right? So if you want to communicate a signal with a 1 kilometers of a distance, then you should have two base stations, right? Obviously the cost will be more in if you're planning to have a 5G technology, right? So present 4G LTE which is there, the base stations which are there, the mobile phones which are there, so they are able to receive and transmit megahertz signal, 700, 800 megahertz, 900 megahertz, but not to a gigahertz frequency, right? So we need to change these base stations, or we need to upgrade or modify these base stations. We need to change our mobile phone. So we need to switch to a 5G mobile phone which can receive and transmit a gigahertz frequency signal. And that is one big disadvantage that we are having here in 5G. High propagation loss, yes, because if you see there, there is a one image you can see there. So there are two colors, that is red and blue. Blue color indicates the coverage area of 900 megahertz. The red color indicates 2.1 gigahertz. Means if the frequency is low, then coverage area will be more. If frequency is high, then the coverage area will be less, right? So if you go for a low frequency, the number of customers that, or the number of users it can cover will be more. But if you go for a high frequency, it will have a very less users, but the efficiency, that is what throughput, will be very high, right? And one again disadvantage, as I said, the propagation is loss is very high, because it will whatever the 5G signals are there, it will be reflected from wall and have poor penetration, and these signals which are there, millimeter wave signals, these are absorbed by the clouds, right? So because of which we say that there is a very high propagation loss, right? And as I said, the base stations, we need to have more number of base stations, then obviously the cost will be also high, right? And this is actually if you see the propagation, the losses and the cost investment and the distance coverage area, actually it is impossible challenge, but there are certain peoples, or there are certain companies, they made it possible. Let's see that. So Qualcomm has come up with certain technique by they have simulated the network of a 5G. So this is taken from a Qualcomm website, where in which you can see here, this is a network. So they have come up with an experimental concept, and they have found a solution for this one, right? Here you can see there are certain numbers are there. These numbers are nothing but the devices, and there are small G node B sites, right? Around 7 G node B sites are there. So these are the devices that are communicating with this G node B. G node B is nothing but it's a base station, 5G base station. So these devices will communicate to through these base stations, right? So there is IAB site. IAB site is not there, which is in blue color. We'll see what is this IAB in a next slide, right? So these all devices, they are placed in 1 kilometer. Total simulation area is 1 kilometer. You have 7 G node Bs, and some of devices are there around this. Now what if you see here in this, I have introduced IAB sites in this network, right? So here if you see there, the efficiency or the throughput is very high after introducing this IAB sites. So what is this IAB sites? So IAB is nothing but integrated access and backhaul network, right? So what this IAB is going to do, how it is going to work, right? So here if you see, there is a one diagram which tells that there is a communication between a node to base station and base station to base station, that is a backhaul network we call it as. So multiple base stations are communicating and mobile is communicating with the base station. So that is what these IAB are going to do. So we also call them as fixed wireless devices, right? So these devices helps in receiving a signal, transmitting from one base station to another base station. So it is a replicant of a base station. So by introducing these devices in this network along with a base station, we are able to increase the throughput, that is efficiency can be increased. So this is what the idea that Qualcomm has come up, and not only the efficiency you can increase, even if by introducing these IAB sites, you can also have the coverage improvement also, right? Because these fixed wireless devices which are there, so these are able to transmit and receive a signal. Obviously there will be a coverage improvement and the efficiency will be high, right? So this is what one concept that Qualcomm has come up with the fixed devices, so that they can improve the efficiency as well as coverage by introducing in a network, right? So this is a simulation that they are done by the Qualcomm. But recent news, if you see, so there is a lot of improvement in coverage area. US Cellular, Nokia, Qualcomm stretch 5G millimeter wave to 10 kilometers in new record. So this is one thing that recently they have achieved. It's a very great achievement, because by this they can reduce the cost of placing a base station or placing IAB devices in a network, right? So this is one thing, and this is a network how it looks if you are using a 5G network. A small network which is there, red color indicates the millimeter wave. A phone UV we call it as, there is a backhaul network base station. So one base station is communicating with another base station. So here if you see, what they are going to do here is, whatever the hexagonal structure that we are going to have, they are going to divide that hexagonal structure into small cells, because the coverage areas are very less. So to do that, if we are having a small cells, obviously we need a small antennas, right? So we'll see that. So not only the Qualcomm, there are other companies like Ericsson, Samsung. Lot of research is going on. They have come up with lot of new devices, that is fixed wireless access devices, which provides a fiber-like internet speed, and specially used for indoor and outdoor applications like schools, hospitals, town hall. So 5G high band coverage limitation is being mitigated by the extending the cell coverage using Ericsson 5G carrier aggregation. This is one more concept that is there in a 5G in order to improve the efficiency as well as the capacity. Right. So 5G Ericsson extends the range software, has a successful delivered a high data speed on 26 gigahertz of millimeter wave frequency over a distance of 7 kilometers. Previously, we have seen 10 kilometers. Now it is a Ericsson has come up with a 7 kilometers of coverage area, right? So this is a great improvement for developing a 5G. Not only the Ericsson, even Samsung, which is there, it has also achieved some improvement in the coverage area as well as the speed. Right. So you can see that they have achieved a speed of 1 gigabits per second, and with a mobility of 110 kilometers. These are the pictures of a Samsung network where they successfully experimented with the high speed download speed of 8.2 gigabits per second across multiple devices. So it's not limited to particular company. A lot of research are going on in a 5G. They want to reduce the cost, so base station implementation cost. So as I said, hope you might have gone through these type of structures in a wireless. So here, these whole geographical area which is there, it is divided into hexagonal structure. So these hexagonal structures have got certain base stations in it. You can see there. So this you can consider it as a 4G LTE network, right? So where one hexagonal structure has got a certain coverage area, right? 10 to 15 to 20 kilometers of coverage area. But for 5G, what we need to do here is we can't use these base station as well as this much coverage area, because the signal millimeter wave which is there, we are using for 5G, that will have very less coverage area, 500 meters. So what they are going to do is that they are going to divide this whole structure, hexagonal structure, into a small cells. You can see there, these are the small cells that are divided, and each cell will be having one small antenna, right? So it's like a every home we have a tap, right? So that concept they have here. So every cell will be having a small antenna, and these small antennas are going to communicate with the main base station antenna that are there for 4G LTE, right? And if you have small cells, obviously you need a small antennas, right? So here there are certain antennas, we call it as a small cell towers. So these are the devices that are developed by Nokia, Ericsson. So these devices are easy to install, low cost, small size, high performance, portable, right? And these can be used for indoor as well as the outdoor applications, and these can be put up at a lamp post, hotels, hospitals, shopping malls, office, stadium, residence. So these are the small devices which are able to transmit and receive the signal that can be used for the indoor as well as the outdoor applications. So these, what you can see, these are the small antennas which are placed in small cells. And the one more key technology is what massive MIMO. So what is this massive MIMO? Massive MIMO is nothing but multiple input, multiple output technology. So if you want to have a 5G technology, so if you want to have a high strength, high capacity, high speed, high throughput, obviously we need to have a multiple inputs and multiple outputs. So whatever the base stations that are there in a 4G LTE, so there is a certain limitation of a transmitter and receiver in 4G LTE. But if you go for a 5G, right? So 5G base station has got a massive MIMO, that is multiple input and multiple output antennas and that is the transmitters and receivers. Here in this, if you see here in this image, there is a base station which is having multiple transmitters and multiple receivers. Here you have UV is there. UV is nothing but your mobile phone which is able to receive multiple signals, beams we call here. So these are nothing but, it looks like this. This is a array of antenna which is having multiple antennas. So this will be placed at a base station, right? And you can see there are different colors of beams that are received at EV. So what is the advantage of using this technology? This technology helps in having a video chatting, right? So with this will provide high data speed, right? And you can have a streaming HD video, online gamings. You can have video chatting without a delay, right? So by adding a high number of antennas at a base station, what is the advantage here is you can enhance the connectivity, speed is more, you can experience a very high speed, right? So in order to have this, you need to have a antenna expansion, means your antenna should have a high algorithm, complex algorithm which can perform these multiple signal transmission, receiving. So that's what there should be a tight coordination between the network and mobile devices. So then only we are able to achieve this one. Uh, this is what massive MIMO. And here there is one more image. You can see that this is a 3D beamforming image where multiple signals are received, and this is an antenna which is going to transmit multiple signals. If you see the back end of these MIMO antenna, so there are certain parts or the devices that are there, that is a data converter, trans receiver is there, phase shifter is there, phase splitter is there, right? So we, whatever the data that is received, it will be converted into RF signal, right? So they are going to shift the signal, they are going to split the signal with varying amplitude as well as phase, right? Let's see that. And one more key technology we have in 5G is the beam forming, right? So this beam forming, how actually these beam formings are going to happen? As you know that there will be a multiple antennas at a base station. So these multiple antennas will help to form a beam, right? So we'll see how actually the beams are formed. So if you see the array of antenna, it looks like this. This is a structure, and this a very small structure, it is of the buttons of shirts, right? So fingernail size pad on the device side, you can see a small structures are there. These are able to transmit as well as receive. So beam forming is used with a phased array antenna system to focus the wireless signal in particular direction. So if you focus a signal to the particular direction, obviously the directivity will be more, the gain will be more, energy will be more. So that's what they have come up with, that concept, and they have implemented this beam forming. So each antenna is fed up with a same transmitted signal, but the phase and amplitude of the signal is adjusted. So what they are telling here is they are going to adjust the phase as well as amplitude of the signal, steering the beam in the desired direction. Desired direction is nothing but the UV direction, where more number of users are there, moving the antenna towards that direction, right? Placing the antenna towards that direction. So whatever the movement is there, the facing of the direction towards the user is all controlled automatically. So this controlling happens in a nanoseconds, right? So this is image where in which you can see that beam steering and beam switching is there. Here you can see that initially there was one antenna. Now you can see that there are multiple antennas are there. So as the multiple antennas are increased, you can see that the main lobe, which is having a high energy, is rising up here, right? So there are certain side lobes are there. So antennas come up with, if you see the different 5G base station antennas, it is having different transmitters and receivers, like 64 cross 64 transmitter receiver antennas will be there, 8 cross 8 antennas will be there, 4 cross 4, 2 cross 2, 128 cross 128 transmitter, 256 cross 256. So like this, multiple antennas are used in 5G network, right? So these whatever the signals that are coming out of these antennas, you can change the direction of them. You can see there, so you can switch the direction to the user. So this is how it looks here. So this is a mobile phone, and you are going to have a beams which are projecting towards these mobile phones. So as the number of the antennas increases, obviously the beams are going to increase, right? And this is one more beam coverage area, where in which you can see that there are multiple phones are there. There is MIMO technology, multiple transmitter as well as receiver beams are there. So these are pointed towards this UV, and this is what you can see there. So low rise coverage, high rise coverage, here if you see, these are the homes where some of the people's using a mobile phone. So this base station is having certain coverage area with this. So this is a one apartment where the base stations which is projected towards this apartment where it can cover more number of customers, right? So you can see there. So it's all beam forming, beam steering, what we call it as. So the 5G is mainly with a beam forming concept. So this is what a 5G wireless infrastructure network. If you see here, there are different devices are there. You can see IAB, backhaul access network, which is there. So if you, there are certain waveforms you can see in this. You can see that there are certain beam forms are there. Here there is a repeater which is having certain beams, and here there are fixed wireless having certain beams that is covering certain customers that are there here, right? So this is a 5G wireless infrastructure network. So you don't have one antenna base station that is there for 4G LTE. So you can see there are multiple stations. We call it as a micro base stations, small stations that are there for the communication of a 5G signal. Right. So a small cell you can see there. So this is 5G wireless infrastructure. And what is the benefit of beamforming? So this will improve the signal to noise ratio. So obviously, if signal to noise ratio is improved, the efficiency will be more, right? So it will help us to cancel out the interference, as well as it will help to have multiple coverage areas for highly dense areas, especially in urban areas, right? And here with the help of this beam forming, you can achieve very high efficiency and the hand in hand support. If you have a good modulation technique like 256 QAM, 64 QAM, 16 QAM, so these are the quadrature amplitude modulation techniques that are used for the 5G technology. Let's see that what is QAM. QAM is nothing but quadrature amplitude modulation technique. As you know that whenever you want to send any data, we have to perform the modulation. So what this QAM, how it looks here, if you see there, it's a 16 QAM structure, right? So there are here 8 symbols are there, here 8, totally 16 symbols are there. That's why we call it as 16 QAM. So what these symbols indicate? So these symbols indicate the binary data. You can see here. So each symbol is having a 4-bit of binary data. That's what 4-bit of binary data, we call it as one symbol, right? So totally 8 symbols are there, right? So there is one more 64 QAM, which is having 64 symbols are there. You can see this is a structure of that, and this is binary data representation of 64-bit QAM. And you have a 250 QAM, wherein which again you have a representation of binary for that. So like this, they are going to use QAM modulation technique in 5G network. Right. And if you go for multiple access technique, so modulation technique are different and multiple access technique are different. So in multiple access technique, if you go for 4G LTE, they use SC single carrier FDMA as well as OFDMA technology, right? And here and this, if you see there are different types of colors of subcarriers. We call these as subcarriers, and the frequency of these subcarriers is 15 kilohertz, right? So you can see there. So how these subcarriers look? So this is how the subcarrier looks. So what is the function of these subcarriers? So it says that subcarrier carrying a data, means these subcarriers are the one which are going to carry the data, binary data, that is the modulated data, we call it as. So in 4G LTE, we have multiple signals, that is subcarrier frequency signals, which is of 15 kilohertz. You can see this is a downlink and this is the uplink. So if you put it in a graph, it looks like this, right? So the function of this is to carry the data, right? So data carried by each subcarriers. And if you see the 5G here we have a downlink as CP-OFDMA and the uplink as CP-OFDMA and DFT-OFDM. So DFT is nothing but a discrete Fourier transfer a spread orthogonal frequency division multiple access technique. So what is the use of this technique? If you see the previous slide here, they are also using OFDMA technology. Here also they are going to use a OFDMA technology. Why? Because so these multiple access techniques which are there, they provide a very less uh, power. Means here in this, if you see there, if you use a CP OFDMA, the peak to average power ratio is very less, that is 11 to 13 dB, right? So if you go for uplink, so if you use DFTS OFDMA and CPF OFDMA combined, or you can use either one of them, right? So the coverage, the power which is there, the peak to average power ratio will be very less. So as we are using a mobile phone with a low very small battery, so obviously it produce very less amount of a power, right? So we should use a technique that is consuming very less power. That's why this OFDM, that is DFT OFDM, is combined, or there will be an option of using that among these two, right? So this is what the multiple access technique that can be used in 5G LTE. So this helps us in avoiding the interference, and the spectral efficiency will be there. And CP OFDM is nothing but it's a cyclic prefix OFDM technique. So whatever the data that is there at the end, that is put at the front in order to avoid the that is error due to the synchronization and prevent the inter-symbol interference. So we have seen a modulation technique as well as the multiple access technique that are used, and there is a flexibility in subcarrier spacing in 5G, because in 4G LTE there are only the 15 kilohertz subcarrier frequencies, but in 5G you can use different types of subcarrier frequencies like 15 kilohertz, 30 kilohertz, 60 kilohertz, 120 kilohertz of subcarrier frequencies. As I said, so these subcarrier frequencies are the one which are able to receive and transmit, means these are the one which are able to carry the data, right? So as if you put these subcarriers and it looks like this, and these, if you improve this graph, it looks like this, where in which we call these as a resource block. You can see here. So these are the resource blocks. Why we call it as a resource block? Because these are the one which carries the data, right? So this is whole channel bandwidth through which you are going to send the data, and this is what the channel bandwidth and the resource block that are used. So there is a, as I said, there is a flexibility. You can use a different number of different types of subcarrier frequencies: 15 kilohertz, 30 kilohertz, 60 kilohertz, 120 kilohertz. For 15 kilohertz, you are having 0 to 14 symbols. You know that what is a symbol? Just now I showed you in a QAM modulation technique, where for 16 QAM we have one symbol is nothing but 4 bits of data, right? So if you go for a 64 QAM, one bit one symbol is nothing but it's a 6 bits of, like this. So symbols are nothing but it's a bits of a data. So if you go for 15 kilohertz subcarrier frequency signal, you are going to have 0 to 14 symbols. And if you go for a 5G frame, NR structure frame, this is a frame structure. So this consists of 10 subframes. Each subframes are having slots here. You can see there. So 15 kilohertz subcarrier frequency will be having a one slot. This one slot is going to carry the 14 OFDMA symbols, right? So this is what the frame structure of a 5G. If you go into deep how these 14 OFDMA symbols are going to look, or the frame structure is going to look. So here if you see there, this is a mobile phone base station communication is happening. And here if you see one slot of a frame 5G NR, it looks like this, you can see there. So there are different colors. These colors indicates the different parameters, right? So the purple color which is there, PSS, is nothing but primary synchronization. There are different types of signals are there: initial access procedure signals, control resource set signals, shared channels. Like this, different types of signals are there, reference signals are there. So these signals are used for the before getting a connection. That is, these are nothing but a control signals, right? So PDSCH is there, PDCCH is there. PDSCH is nothing but it's a shared channel, physical downlink shared channel, physical uplink shared channel is there. PBCH, physical broadcast channel is there. Like this, there are different channels are there. So this PSS, SSS, PBCS. So these are the synchronization signal, broadcast channel signal that are used initially when you turn on the phone, which will help you to get the cell area, right? So it will identify the cell in at which cell you are there, at which tracking area you are going to have, right? And this will give you the information of the channel required for UV to assess the network, right? So like this, different channels are there, and these different channels are going to perform certain operation. As I said, PDSCH. So this is a shared channel. So this shared channel is the one which is going to carry the data, right? So user data it is going to carry. There is a in order to carry the control data, this PDCCH is there, right? So like this, different channels are there, and there are certain signals which are there. They are going to give the information about the signal, right? So we call it as a reference signal. So here we have DM RS signal, that is a demodulated reference signal. It is used by 5G NR receiver to produce a channel estimation for demodulation of associated physical channel. Like this, different channels are there in a 5G. It is not restricted, and these are given certain work, or these channels will perform certain operations. So this is how the network 5G frame structure looks. So here you can see that OFD 14 symbols are there. These are the one which carries the data, right? So this is what the the physical layer structure. And now it's almost 10 here, still I have 1 hour of time. So we will move towards a hands-on session. So this is just a theory part. So in order to understand the hands-on session, I request to go through these technologies. So there are certain tools are there. If you want to work on this 5G, and if you want to learn some simulation, if you want to build your own network, if you want to have your own concept of implementing a network. So there are certain tools are there. There is a network simulator NS2. uh, in that you can use a 4G LT patch, and you can simulate the network. 4G LTE network you can simulate. Even you can change the frequency of a signal, bandwidth of a signal, power of a signal there, and you can show that as a 5G network, right? So there is NS3 is there, network simulator tool is there, which is having a millimeter wave patch. So with the help of this millimeter wave patch, you can simulate the 5G network. There are certain programs in that you can run them, and you can come up with your own network, own concepts and all. So there is a MATLAB 2028. Now we have 2021 5G toolbox is there. So I'll show this MATLAB toolbox how it is going to work. And there is a Omnet plus plus with 5G CMU patch is there. You can work on this Omnet These all software tools which are there, these all are free, and you can use these in a different platform. So NS2, NS3 you can use in Ubuntu, right? So Red Hat, any other OS. MATLAB, obviously we use a Windows. Omnet++ even you can use other than Windows like Ubuntu. So here I will show you how to run the programs on Omnet++, MATLAB, and I will show how to download and what are the needs and requirements of these tools. Right. So if you go for because if you see the most of the workshops that are there, so they all tell more about the 5G technology. Very few people explain about the hands-on session, because if you want to work in this 5G technology, we need a tool, right? So theoretic concept, you can't get the result from that, right? So you need a tools, you need the concept that is having there in a tool 5G patch, or we call it as 5G toolbox. So we need a user plane, control plane. So these all simulation network we are going to have in this software. This will help you to create a paper. This will help you to do a research on 5G. So you can go through these tools. These are freely available. If you want to install Omnet++ in Windows or in Ubuntu, there are some videos. You can go through them and install. Even MATLAB is it's a paid version, right? So there is a trial version available. You can download it and you can log in and you can try it. There is a 5G toolbox. If your college is having this MATLAB 2021 or 20, you can use a 5G toolbox where there are some set of programs are there. You can run those programs and you can come up with a certain assumption or conclusion. So I'll show some of the papers that have been implemented on these tools, because so you see, if you want to do, as I said, any research and all, obviously you need a tool. Tool is a one which will take your idea and give the results, right? So I'll just show you about these tools. And we have Python also. We can use a simu patch is there. Library functions are there. You can work on that all I'll be showing you now. So just go through them. You can understand what are these tools and how to work and all. For first, let's start with Omnet++. Right, I'll just share the link. So you can you can combine with combine with the students. You can do the research with your colleagues using this tool, right? So you can create the network. So I'll just share this link. I can go through this one. Just a minute. So I'm sharing link here, one web link, simu5g.org. So this is a link where you can download Omnet++, and there is a patch of 5G called as simu5g. I'll just show you. I hope you can see this screen.
Yes, sir.
So here, this is the Omnet++ for 5G, that is a SIMU 5G. So they have given an introduction about 5G using Omnet++, how to install. So this is the structure, right? There is
Okay.
theoretic
Continue, sir.
content is there. You can go through this one, and there is a description about this patch, 5G SIMU patch. Right, and go through this. I'll show how to execute and run this program, and there is a guide. You can install. There are certain instructions given here. You can go through this how to install this first Omnet plus plus you have to use, that is version 6, and there will be a patch. You can download this patch. If you click here, you can download the patch, and after downloading you can run this one. So I'll show you how to run. And if you are facing a problem in installing and downloading and working with this simu 5G, you can download this virtual machine. So that is simu 5G plug and play. If you download this one, you are going to have the Ubuntu OS with this simu 5G software built in, right? So that you can by using virtual you can, that is VMware we call it as, in that you can install this one Ubuntu with inbuilt simu 5G, and you can run the program, right? So you can go through this. I have shared this one. So there are certain videos in YouTube. You can understand how to install this Omnet plus plus in Windows as well as in the Ubuntu. And there are certain papers on this, right? So in order to understand this tool, there are some manuals are there, papers are there. So these are the people who have developed this patch, right? So they have come up with certain publications, IEEE publications, you can see there, and you can go through these papers and understand what actually the simu 5G is there, how they are developed, how they are using it, right? So these papers you can go and you can check it, and you can modify the programs or the codes which are there in this Omnet plus plus, right? So you can download this paper. Just click on this. I'll show you some of the papers of these people who have developed this. And this is contact information. These people are available in LinkedIn. Even I have contacted them, so you can have a interaction with them. You can develop a paper. You can consult them and check whether the work is correct or not, or you can also add them as a one more author with along with your paper, right? So I'll just show you how to do this, and before that I'll show the papers which are there here. So as I said, the tools are very important because these are the tools that will fetch you the will give you a result, will help you to create your own network. I'll just share the paper. So this is one paper from Omnet plus plus simu 5G. Just now what I have showed there, the publication. So this is a paper. So they have worked on this. They have come up with some results. Obviously, nowadays the papers which are having more theoretic content papers, they are not going to accept. That is, they call it as a review paper. So it's good that if your paper is having a simulator with certain results, you can see this is a network, and this network is there. You can get this network. It is available in Omnet plus plus simu 5G. So these are the results that are they have got from using simu 5G. This is what the paper with respect to simu 5G Omnet plus plus library. So there is one more paper. Can see there this type of network you can create. I'll show you just a minute. I'll just share my screen with that OS. We'll just start once again. I think it's in off condition. Just turn on the virtual machine. Here, as just now I showed you that there is a plug and play, right? So if you install the virtual machine, and you can install that plug and play Omnet++ consisting of SIMU 5G patch in that. So in this I have already installed here. You can see there. So this is a virtual box. I'll just open this Ubuntu, so which is consisting of Omnet++. So it's taking some time. Just wait for a few minutes. Okay, it's open now. So this is Ubuntu OS. In this OS, you can see there is a Omnet++, which is already installed. So just what you have to do here is just click on this one. So Omnet++ is going to open. So this is Omnet++, and here you have a patch that is a SIMU 5G patch. So using this patch, you can run some of the programs, because there are certain inbuilt programs that are there here, and you can modify these programs and you can get the result of it, and you can make a paper of it. See here, there is a SIMU 5G folder, and here in this there is a simulator, and there are certain folders are there. In this folders there are certain programs are there, and this Omnet++, it consists of simple as well as compound modules. So group of modules will form a network here, and there are three different files here in Omnet++. That is .ned, that is a network description file, .ini network configuration file, .cc source file. So these are the three files that you can see here in this SIMU 5G folder, and in order to run the network in Omnet++, you need these files, right? So I'll just show you and run some of the programs that are there here. You can install and try it, because I have installed it. It is working very perfectly. So there is a folder called as a network. You can, and here this is a .ned file, that is a network description file. So this Omnet++, it is designed using a C++ program. Right. So here this is a network, and here that is this is a design we call, and there is a source code for this. There are certain modules are there. You can use these modules and you can build your own network. It's not restricted here. And this software, this patch which is there, it is developed by these people, and that is these are from University of Pisa.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sidhu, sir. Sir,
Yes, sir.
the Ubuntu screen is not maximized, sir. Please.
It's not maximized. Okay,
Yes, sir.
1 minute. 1 minute, sir. No, sir.
Now it's also same, sir.
Okay, I'll stop and I'll share once again. Let me see.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Now it's okay, sir.
Okay,
Okay.
this is a Simu 5G tool. So there is a folder, and there are some of the folders that are there.
রান্না কে করলো রান্নাটা সকালবেলা শুধু ভাতটা বসিয়েছো আর তখন আমি ছিলাম না
I request to turn off.
Siddhingappa, sir, your voice is not audible.
Right, sir.
Now it's okay, sir.
So this is a network. You can see here in this network there are certain base stations are there, UV are there, server is there, router is there. So you can create your own network like this 5G network. There are certain, as I said, codes are there. You can modify them, and if you see there, these are the library functions. You can write a code for this, then design will be created, or else you can create the design. It's like a two-way. Write the code and create the network, or create the network, the other side the code will be created, right? So these are certain locations of the devices that are there, routers, and the G node B, that is we are using base stations, right? So there are two types of base station, G node B and E node B. E node B are nothing but the 4G LT base stations. G node B are nothing but 5G base station. So you can see there this is a master E node B base station, 4G LT, G node B base station, UV is there. So like this you can create your own network. I'll just run this one. Just here there is a play button, just click on this, it will run, and you can see the communication of data between UV as well as base station. So you can try this tool with your students or with your final year students or PG students, the research scholars who want to do PhD or who want to work on 5G technology using tools. So this is the best one. You can try this one. I'll just click on play. You can see there. So there is a communication between master node and secondary node. UV communication, data communication is happening between UV base station, that is a 4G LT, 5G LT base station. And here there is a data communication, whatever the signals that are communicated, control signals or a data signals, that is available here. So using these data, you can check what is going to happen in this network, and what all we can do, what all you want to do, or what all modification if you want to do, you can do it. You can try this tool. As I said, you can modify, you can increase the number of base stations, you can increase the number of UVs, you can change the bandwidth, right? So that all you can do it here in this tool. So as I said, if you want to present a paper, if you want to prepare a paper, you need a tool. So this is one tool that you can try for 5G. Right. This is what, and there are, it is not limited to particular programs. There are many number of programs. Just I'll stop and I'll show some other. So this is one thing. So there are some other folders, like there is a standalone folder. In this standalone folder, I'll just close this one. So there is one INI file is there. So that is a network configuration file. Just I'll click on this. So this is one more file. Just in this, if you see, so there are certain parameters or functions that are there. You can change these function. You can change the size of the packet that is transmitted. You can change the mobility, right? So coverage area you can change. You can increase to 500, 700, and you can change the power. Here it was there, yes, right, transmission power, receiver power, UV, E node B. You can also use a G node B as well here. So lot of functions are available. There is a manual for this. You can go through this. So just I'll run this one. I can understand how what this network is. So you can install this one in Ubuntu, right? So I'll just click on OK. So standalone is nothing but a complete 5G network, right? So at present we are having a complete 4G LT network. When 5G comes, it is not you'll be not having complete 5G network. There are 7 ways of connecting 5G with 4G LT, right? So this is what one network which is having UV, base station, user plane function, a router is there, server. So I'll just run this one. You can see there is a frame communication or data communication between UV to the base station. So the control information that you can see here, you can go through these information. You can select all these, copy and paste in Word and analyze what actual information is transmitted. So that all you can do it. And if you click here, you can see, see different types of modules that are there, right? So you can work on this. It's very good tool. So I have executed many programs on this. So this is what you can see. There are different functions that are there here. Just close here and I'll show you some more thing. Then network, I think I showed this multi-cell is there, right? I'll just show you some other standalone. This I showed you. Multi-cell, there is, this is what one more type of program that we are having here in 5G. So these are the functions. As I said, you can change whatever you want. And if you are a beginner, you want to learn on in a 5G, what actual 5G is there and all. So there is one course, just 499 rupees is there in a Udemy master class in 5G. You can go through that. It's very good one. So this is one more network, right? You have two eNode Bs are there. Gateway is there. UV is there. That is a mobile phone. So this communication is going to, you can see there are multiple UVs are there. So you can try this one. You can come up with your own concept and change the program and create your own network so that you can have. There are some other programs are there. You can go through this. In NR, I think I have shown you the, there is one more test handover, right? So this is just show this one. So this is one more program you are having. So this is a .ini file, and here also we have a transmitter, receiver, energy, mobile parameters are there, resource block, how many number of resource blocks are there, 25. So there is a comment thing there, you can go through them and you can run it. You can understand the program which is there because there is a comment given. So you can see there it's the frame structure communicating between UV as well as E node B. So you can try this one. Just close here. So like this, there are some of the programs are there. You can try it and you can run this one, right? So this is all about Omnet++. You can use this one. It's very simple, easy to use. There is no much complexity is there. And here, as I said, there is one more NS3 is there. There is there is a one manual here, NS3 millimeter wave module, right? So you can install NS3, and there is a patch called as NS3 millimeter wave module. You can install and you can run the programs in that, right? I'll just show you that module. So here you can see there are certain examples are there. You can go through this. So this is NS3 millimeter wave. So there are some programs are there.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. Join. Join.
Scripts are there. You can try. If you are good in Python, you can work on this. And I will show you here it is there. Right.
You're routing there.
Right. I'll just show you this one from where to get and how to get. I'll just stop sharing this one. 1 minute. So there is one link I'll share you here. Just a minute. Right. So if you want to work with NS3, there is a one link I shared here. Fine. Here I'll just share thing. 1 minute. So this I have shared you. So here this is NS3. I think you can see the screen, right? This is NS3 with millimeter wave module. So there are certain papers are there with respect to this patch. You can go through these papers. These papers consist of modules that are used in this millimeter wave. Right, you can see, you can install NS3, and even there are a lot of videos are there in YouTube how to install NS3 and how to work on this. So this I have already installed this, but running this it takes some time. Right, so you can try this one. I have shared this one in a chat box. And just a minute. And one more link that is there, you can try this one also. I'll just share 1 minute. So here, before this, I'll just show you. So we can see that this network, 1 minute, I'll just. So we have seen this type of network in Omnet++, right? So these all papers which are there, they are all related to this Omnet++ SIMU 5G patch, right? You can work with this, you can come up with the result, because all the programs which are there which are similar to this the concept that are there in a paper, right? There is one more paper, right? This I think I showed you. Just share. So this is one more paper on 5G SIMU Omnet++. So similar type of the network we have seen just now in Omnet++. So even they have implemented this using SIMU 5G, right? So can go through this paper, come up with the results. You can use the same parameters what they have used. And this is one interesting one more paper that is there. This is one more tool you can I'll just share this one paper, go through this. So there is one PySimu, right? So this is one more paper with respect to one more tool that is used, right? So here you can see this is a network that they have used in this paper, and they have come up with some results, right? So I'll just share the link of this content in just 1 minute. So you can go through this one. I'll share this in a chat box. Right, you can try this one. PySimu 5G means a Python simulator of 5G. So just 1 minute. So if you see the website, how actually this looks here is whatever the link I have shared there in a chat box. So there is a Python simulator consisting of a library or a PySim 5G. So you can try this one. There is just now one paper I have showed which was there based on this one, right? So they have come up with some results using the patch that is there. So how to install this Python simulator using Python, how to run, and what are the add-ons you have to install, that all is given, and you can go through this, right? So I have already shared a link here. You can download it and you can run it. So you can install this in a Ubuntu OS, right? How to install in Ubuntu and all. So they have given the instructions here. You can follow this one and you can run. So you can if you are good in Python, or if you want to work on Python using 5G model, then you can try this. So this is one Python simulator which is integrated with a 5G simulator model. So this is there, and I'll just show you MATLAB, how to work with MATLAB and all. So this is these are all about the Omnet++, NS3. Now I will show you MATLAB. MATLAB, it takes some time to open. MATLAB 2020. So here I'm having a paid version. It takes some time, as I said. Just wait a minute. And if you want to work on this 5G MATLAB toolbox, so first thing, you need to know certain concepts of these things that are there here, right? So these you need to know, that is what is logical channels, what is transportation channels, physical channel. So these are the channel, different channels are there for control signal, you are having a different channel for downlink and uplink, and for data communication you have a different channels are there, right? So you should know all these things. So if you know these things, just 3 slides, if you know, or then you can understand what is a 5G toolbox, right? So I'll just it got opened. I'll just share you 5G MATLAB toolbox, right? So this is MATLAB 2021A, which is installed. I'll just show you the 5G toolbox. You can try this one, and in this also there are some programs are there, inbuilt programs you can modify. You can see there examples that are there here. It takes some time. It's a 20 GB software is there. So you can see this, there are certain programs are there here in this examples, we call it as. So downlink, with respect to downlink channel, uplink channel, right? You can see. So here you can run all these programs that are there. As I said, if you want to work, or if you want to implement a network, or you want to create a network, so you need a tool. So these are the best tools that you can use. And obviously if you have a paper with these tools, with these network, your citation of a paper will also increase, right? So this is one program, PDSCH throughput. PDSCH is nothing but it is a physical downlink shared control channel. The function of this physical shared control channel is to carry the data, right? The user data. It takes some time to execute. So once it execute, it will give the graph. And there are certain parameters are there. If you see here in this, there is a theory content available, and you can change the values, signal to noise ratio value you can change, the number of frames you can change, right? So that option is there here. Sub carrier frequency, as I said, in 5G it is not limited. You can vary 15, 30, 60 like that. And sub carrier spacing is there. Here you can see these are certain parameters that you can vary and come up with your own result. Transmitter number of UVs also you can change. You can see here. So this you can do it. You can try it. It's still running. It takes some time. Some people say that it's difficult to work with this MATLAB, because here already programs are there. You can run them and you can go through these programs, modify them. And here you have a 5G waveform generator. There is one more 5G. Here you can see that these are the graphs that are produced by this program, right? So resource blocks are there, subcarrier frequency is there. This is a throughput that you are going to see with the help of this PDSCH channel, right? So like this you can run the programs that are there here. There are many programs are there. You can try it. You can work on this. And there is a 5G waveform generator is there. You can generate the signal according to your own frequency. I'll just show you how to do it. Okay, this is what you can see, that I can generate the waveform, and you can see there are you can generate FR1 frequency 1, frequencies 2, channel bandwidth 400, cell identities sub frequency. So you can modify and you can generate the waveforms whichever you want for your own frequency, right? So you can see there. So these are the different types of channels are there, and this is a frequency, orthogonal frequency signal. You can create your own signals that what you want. So spectrum analysis, PDSCH, demodulation, reference signals are there. You have can see there different types of channels are there. You can do it, you can try it. With respect to downlink you are going to have, and with respect to uplink, so this is possible in a MATLAB. You can try it, you can do it. I'll just show you some of the papers that are there related to these MATLAB. I'll just close this one. Fine. So more than 10 to 20 programs are there here. Each program has got a script in that, and you can run and come up with the output. Here you can see small cells which are there. Right. So you can try this one, and I'll just stop sharing here. I'll just stop and just share some of the papers which are there for MATLAB. So this is one paper that they are done using MATLAB. Right, I can see that. So this type of waveform pattern you can see format. So this paper is completely based on a 5G toolbox. The parameters that they have changed, they have got a graph, throughput, frame. So like this, you can use these tools: MATLAB 5G toolbox, NS3, a millimeter wave module, Omnet++, and you can create your own network. You can change the parameter, you can simulate, you can come up with a result. So these are the latest best tools that are there that are used by researchers for a 5G network. Right. So any questions you have can ask. Now it's almost 15 minutes time is there. So first we started with theoretic content, then we moved to the hands-on, where in which I showed you the simulation of Omnet++ using a 5G SIMU patch, and I have shared the link. You can go through these links, right? And you can install the software and you can work, especially the people who want to work on 5G. So you can try, you can take those papers who have already implemented using those tools, and you can work on that and come up with the results. Any questions are there? Let me go to.
Hello, sir.
Huh.
There are some questions in the chat box, sir.
Okay. Okay, sir. I'll go. Fine.
In addition, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, there are terms like EDG. How are they differ from the GS like that?
Yes, sir. Sir, as you know that there are different types of generations we have. We are using a 4G. Actually, 4G is not in that again we have a version like 4G LT is there, 4G Advance is there, 4G voice over internet is there. So it is like they are going to vary the bandwidth. The speed is different. 4G network speed is different. 4G LT network is different. If you go for a 3G Edge, which is there, so it's like they have come up with a version, a slight improvement in the 4G, slight improvement in the 3G, in terms of speed, in terms of bandwidth, in terms of high throughput. So that's why they have named the Edge. Edge belongs to 3G. right? So LTE belongs to 4G. So these are the different versions of the generations, like 3.5 we call it as edge. So 4G, that is 4.5 or 4.6, we call it as a 4G LTE, where in which the speed is more. So the that is a generation we call it as. So that's what the term G. So they first come up with particular technology 5G, they modify it, then they name it as a term of 4G LTE, like that, 3G edge and all. Then there is a so please maximum is okay. Sorry. So can
Sir,
we? Yes.
yeah. Can we import the maps from OpenStreetMap along with the 3D geometry for building for the simulating of 5G's propagation?
Yes,
Like
yes,
we
you
have one
can
more.
do it. You can do it as just now I have shown Omnet plus plus, and there one more I have shown in a Simu PySimu 5G Python simulator, wherein you have a model with a 5G, right? You can use them and you can simulate a 3D graphical thing. If you go through the papers, you'll understand that. So they have showed the images, and you can do it. There is no any such restrictions are there. You can try it. So is it same as Cisco Packet Tracer? So Cisco Packet Tracer, Cisco Packet Tracer here, in Cisco Packet Tracer, you can't have a 5G. You can't have a 5G module. So in Cisco Packet Tracer, you can configure router, you can connect you can create a multiple node system connecting with different networks, but you can't have a 5G network there. You can't simulate a 5G network there, right? So that thing is missing, and you don't have any patches in Cisco Packet Tracer, because I have worked on that. Then okay, I'll share the material, you can go through that. Okay, then in addition to okay different types, instead of 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, we have a specific name, right? Yes, for example, if you go for 3G, after 3G 4G has introduced, right? So between that there is a 3.1, 3.5 and all. So they gave a name for that, right? So that is for 3.5 edge, they are given. For 4G, between 4G and 5G, there is a 4.5 with certain improvement in bandwidth, a certain improvement in the speed. So they have named that in terms of 4G as 4G LT, 4G advanced, 4G voice over internet and all. So that is their nomenclature. Even 5G will also come before going to 6G. 5G will also have one more 5.5, right? So whenever they make certain improvement in the existing technology, like 3G, if they improve, then they come up with certain name. 4G certain improvement, then they come up with some name. That is what the naming culture is there. Can we import? Yes, you can do it. As I said, there are images. You can go through the patch that is there. In that, there are certain graphical images are there. You can use them. There is no restriction is there. So once you run those programs, understand, you'll come to know, right? So these tools are very important. You can work on this. You can make up papers on this. You can do research on this, and the authors of these are available in LinkedIn. You can share the content of the work what you have done and check with them, right? So even they will be doing some work, you can contact them and you can work with them. So a lot of opportunities are there. You can do this using these tools, right? So any other doubts are there? I hope you understood. So I request participant to use all these tools, because If you go through any of the workshops, FDPs, seminar, webinar, you see a lot of the theoretic content that they'll be explaining. So very few workshops they explain about the hands-on with respect to tools and all. So you don't get these tools very easily. So I already shared it and I worked on that. So at the end I'll share my details. You can, if you have any doubts, or you can contact me. Right. Any other doubts are there, you can ask. So this is my information, that is name, phone number, email ID. You can contact me. Any other things? Any questions you are having?
Maybe no doubts, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Fine. Fine, sir. Okay. All the best for your work. Go through all these tools. I shared the link in a comment box. Work with this, because what all people will do here is, whenever they attend a workshop, first thing is that they get the certificate and put it in a resume, or put it in a profile. Please don't do like that. So you work on these tools, right? So you will be also you'll get a knowledge, right? You can conduct, you can talk with your students, share these tools that are there, and you can conduct a workshop within your college and within your inter college, and you can come up with ideas, right? Because as personally speaking, I have attended more than 50 workshops on 5G. So more than 15 Atal FDP's workshops I have attended. Right. So I have worked many on this 5G technology. So I request you also to work on this. And if you are using LinkedIn, there is a free training course is there in LinkedIn. There are certain groups are there. You can join them. So you'll be getting a latest update of what's the market is there, and what the technology is there, what are the new things that you are going to have. So whatever the images that I showed, it's a recent thing that which I got from the LinkedIn and news. Sir, we can use Simulink for 5G model. Yes, you can use that option is there. You can go through the 5G MATLAB box. You can run it. So any other doubt? Hope thanks for comments.
Okay. Maybe no doubt, sir. Okay. So thank you, sir. So the session was very informative and very helpful. And thank you for taking all a walk through the 5G technology. Hope this was a great treat to our participants. Thank you so much.
Okay,
thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Bharati madam and Nagesh sir, for giving the opportunity to conduct a workshop on 5G. Thank you. There is one question available in MATLAB 2014.
2014.
So it's not available. It's available. 5G toolbox is only available in 2020, 20 and 2021 version.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam.
Thank you,
thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I also thank to Nagesh to give your contact to me. So it's a very nice session from you. So informative session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So dear participant, we have shared the attendance link. So kindly fill the attendance link, and some instructions are given for the yesterday's hands-on session software. Today afternoon also we are having the same hands-on session from VI Solutions. They have given some instructions. So I have just posted in the WhatsApp group. So just I'll be posting here in the chat also. So those who are not in the WhatsApp group can they can see this and follow these instructions to download that software. So again, if you are having any doubts, so you can contact, we can contact them. Anyway, they are having session at 2 p.m. So we can contact them. Follow these instructions to download. So for the link yesterday, they have given. So we will start the next session at 11:15. So again on Industry 4.0, from 3.0 to 4.0 digital transformation, from Mr. Yash NN, team leader, HP Aruba. So we'll start at 11:15. Thank you. Good morning, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good morning, ma'am.
So thank you very much for accepting our invitation and taking up this session for this 5 days online faculty development program on Industry 4.0 at ACS College of Engineering. So I'll just hand over the session to Nagesh. So he'll give a brief introduction about you. So then you can start the session, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, just a few clarification before
Yes.
you pass it to Nagesh.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is an online event. That means everybody is in the online, or you guys are
Yes,
in
yes.
the campus?
No. We are in campus, sir, but the participants, they are from all over India, the faculty participants. So it is from AICTE Training and Learning Academy, sponsored from AICTE, sir, Faculty Development Program.
Wonderful, wonderful. Hello, everybody.
Yes.
So I don't know, for sure Nagesh will do a small introduction, and
Yes.
after that I'll definitely discuss with you guys, okay?
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Bharti ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Nagesh,
Okay.
sir, you can start.
Welcome, sir. So I'll just give the brief introduction about today's speaker, Yashwant sir. Yash is a global technical marketing leader on the Aruba HPE switching technical marketing engineering team. Yash roles on the TME team focus on the campus switching, network security, network management, network design, reference architecture, Aruba enterprises solutions, and digital industry 3.0 and industry 4.0 transformation. Prior to joining the TME team, Yash was Aruba engineering section manager on the network test lab team. Yash joined the Aruba switching NTL team in 2015. As part of that team, he was a responsible leading delivery and qualifications of Aruba's flagship switching product line, end-to-end multi-vendor solution across the networking OS. Owned the definitions of operational and strategic goals for the large complex quality team. He brings extensive experience and innovations of R&D, project management, program management, and customer escalation handling. He received the HPE President Quality Award, Enterprises Quality Award in 2017. Yes, sir, networking curiosity and passion drives innovations and help to him to new patents. As a result, he received Aruba Inventor of the Quarter in 2019. Before Aruba, Esh worked for Cisco System Service Provider Solution Manager, and he was responsible for FCS of Service Provider Access Solution and Customer Escalation Management. He received Cisco prestigious Engineering Award, Cisco Pioneer Award in 2009 for CNH program. Yesh has a Master Technology in Computer and Technology and Bachelor in Electronics from the University of Mysore. So I welcome you for this session, sir. Now I hand it over the session to you. Thank you, sir.
Hello, everybody. Very good morning. As said, my name is Yash. My full name is Yashwanta Nagaraj Nagonahalli. So that's a small village. So as you all come up in your life, so same with me also. From that small village, I'm here now in Bangalore. So I've traveled many countries just thanks to my companies like Cisco, and now I'm working for HP Aruba, which is giving me my bread and butter. So thanks to them, whatever they're allowing me to learn in their organization, I'm learning. And out of that, as Sir said, I also have Innovation Quarter of the Award, what they said. I also have many granted patents from the USPTO. Granted patents, I don't know how many of you understand. It's kind of a little tough to get a granted patent in the latest technologies because many technologies are evolving as fast as possible. In that, you need to find out a real patentable idea and you need to patent. Once after you patent, you need to get a grant, which will take some years. So like that, I have a 9 granted patent. Apart from that, I also have 25 to 30, which is currently in the application state. That means it is filed, waiting for the grant states. So that is a nutshell so that you understand it's not that I've done something great or anything like that. It's something which is very helpful for you guys when you are listening from me. Some of the things it's an authenticated and also you can feel that there is something this guy is little bit has done in the industry, and you can acknowledge me back in during your course of your studies or even with your students when you're telling these discussions or learning these all things. It will be helpful. Before I start sharing the slides, I would like to just mention what has happened in the industry, right? We are all in the standing current where we stand is on the industry 3.0. What is industry 3.0 is something we need to understand the industry 4.0. What is industry 3.0 is more of connectivity. As you guys know, after the invention of transistors, which is probably 50 years back, the transistors gave a life for the connectivity world, right? So they started building computers on top of the computer. Once they build the computer, as you know, that computer should talk to another computer. How it will talk? You need a cable, right? The wired cable you need. So CAT, maybe 2K, 3K cables. These are things I would request you to make a small note, because each of this, whatever I said, even the CAT 2K, 3K, that cable itself, there are 100 companies today in the out. They only do cabling business. When you are talking to your students, providing details is going to be a very key. Or even when you are learning, looking into the details of each and everything you learn is something is going to be very, very important. Breadth is very important, but at the same time, you spending some time on specific ones. For example, as I said, on the wired itself, a person, if you ask me, can spend his whole life just on the wires. That is the intense technology which is lying on the wire. So to talk to these two computers, you need a wire, correct? So that wire industry itself is a big industry, because as the demands are increasing, we were okay with the only one telephone line at our home. Before that one, maybe a whole village had one telephone line. After that, every home wanted a telephone line. What does it change? It is just like this, right? A whole village has a cycle. The cycle will come to village and you need a small road, maybe probably a 1.5 feet road. But what to do? Everybody wants cycle. What will happen? The road width will 1 feet, 1 feet, 1 feet. It will get larger, right? Similarly, on the networking also, whenever I'm discussing about connectivity in Industry 3.0, just imagine yourself, you are on the road and vehicles are nothing but taking the space. That is nothing but the data. The vehicles are nothing but the data which are moving on that road. Throughout our discussion, let us keep in our mind that analogy that there is a road. Whatever goes on the road is nothing but the data. The vehicles which you see on the road, right? Cycle, buses, etc., etc. They're all data. That is what happened from a computer to computer. So those, again, I'm not presenting any slide which I'm going to use in few minutes. I'm just building a basic fundamental so that everybody might be aware of whatever I'm saying, but it's a good connecting point for me to switch over to Industry 4.0. That way you will understand everything and you can proudly discuss or do some of the research, or even you can go to some of the students' discussions and add a value in their projects. Why? If you are adding a little bit of value in their current project towards the upcoming trend projects, like upcoming trend of the industry, that kid will be able to get into industry, thanking you and the family, correct? That is the intent I'm keeping as the fundamental for this discussion. You have come for the FDP program. FDP is nothing but the, if I rightly expand, it may be a faculty development program. Nagesh, is it right expansion?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Correct.
Thank you, Fatima. So it's a faculty development program. That means I'm thinking you are a faculty, you have a followers, right? You have a lot of followers. That is nothing but your students and also some of your influence. You may be an influencer also, right? At your family, and there may be a lot of cousins which will be following you. So it's better to know where we are standing in the IT sector. So that's something, one of the sector in the IT is Industry 4.0. I'm not going to touch on many sectors which are going to be involved in this. So as I was discussing, so the computers, as I was telling you, you wanted a connect and you wanted a wire. Fine, wire was a media. Wire was a media to connect the two computers. As the day evolved, these computers wanted to communicate to they wanted to download some data file. They wanted a file, where to keep the file? They wanted to keep a file server. So then the intention of this client and a server model established. That means you can have a server where you keep all the food, and many people come to the hotel and we distribute the food. Let's consider it's a sweet stall. People come and sit in the sweet stall. Anytime, my dear friends, you're all my friends, okay? It's no, I'm not teaching, it's a discussion. We are all, because of this digital world, everything will be known to everybody. So please unmute yourself, just shoot a question. So with my limited knowledge, I will try to answer you back. Okay. So as you see, this is what is a client and a server model. It is very simple to explain. How are you going to explain to the students? Think of this way. There is a sweet stall. There is a sweet stall. That sweet stall is having a lot of sweets, and that is where they are kept. The Kanti sweets, if you have visited, or even the Anand sweets, if you have visited, there is a sweet stall. A lot of sweets are there. You went there, he will serve you. Its sweets are already kept. Same way it is in the file server model also. That model evolved. So if you look at mainframe, all of that got evolved in this connectivity world. What to do? The connectivity didn't stay as a wired connectivity. Computer to computer, as I said, there was a wire required. The wire used to transfer that signal. As I told you, the wire itself, you can spend your lifetime. What are the wire signaling mechanism? How the voltage transfers? How the digital data, whatever we are speaking, is coming to you? That itself can be spoken for 10 to 15 hours from my home. How it is reaching you all? It's a topic by itself. How many of you don't know about all of that, which I'll touch a little bit there. So these computers, as communicated, they started downloading the files. That industry also evolved. Client server industry got evolved, and people wanted to communicate not only two computers in their rooms, they wanted to talk to remote person. So then the concept of LAN WAN evolved. If you look at the LAN and WAN evolution, so LAN and WAN evolution is something like this, right? So internally, if somebody wants to communicate inside their building, it's a LAN communication. If that same communication, whatever they are doing inside the LAN, if needs to another LAN, you need a connectivity, you need a service providers. What are those service providers? You might be naming them. Any idea about service provider from anybody in this audience? Can you use the chat window and say, who are the service providers? I'm audible. It's the voice is okay.
Yes, sir. Your voice is okay, but somebody just now switched off the video. Okay. Our voice can.
No worries.
Hello, sir. Yes, sir. Your voice is not audible, sir.
No worries, sir. No worries.
Is it okay now?
Now it's okay, sir.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I think somebody muted me. That's where it is got. Kindly don't mute me, my dear friends. It rest all you can do. You can play your video, all of that, but don't mute me because I have to keep saying. So as you guys said, it is an internet service providers, right? What is internet service provider? As the name itself suggesting, it is internet. It is going to connect to 2 or 3 locations. Somebody like Reliance owns the backbone. Very nice, sir. Very nice, Shiva Kishan. I'm really happy with Shiva Kishan's response. He owns the backbone. Like AT&T owns the world backbone. Reliance may be owning a backbone of our country. Correct, sir. Correct. And backbone servers the IS. Correct. You are absolutely right. I'm very happy, Shiva sir. So you are ahead of me. So let us continue. So these guys provided the ISP. That means we are able to see the LAN. Yes, Pune Telco. So we are able to see the LAN connected via WAN. That is understood, right? Then what is the other medias which got evolved? Wired is there, connectivity is there. What to do? There are a lot of things which never had a connectivity. For example, if you go back to industry 1.0 to 2.0, where the factory evolution happened. Factory evolution, how many of you know your dad might be working in BHEL, BEL, BEML or Texas textile industry, right? So there are so many, even the manufacturing units like car manufacturing, which I'm going to show you in a minute. These units are intense man work, right? Our father and grandfather did so much of intense hard working. Every job was a human intense work. They get into a factory, everything lathe machine to every conversion has to be done by manually. That is a big change which happened between the industry 2.0 to industry 3.0 because of whatever we spoke till now. How many of you are able to connect now? We spoke about LAN, WAN connectivity because of that change of connectivity thanks to digital silicon, which gave a birth from 2.0 to 3.0. So how many of you, one of you can unmute, who understood this one? Like there is a sir, and now I understood how the connectivity of 2.0 to 3.0 is there. Then we can talk about 4.0. Or you can use the chat window if you don't like to unmute. Is it the flow is understood because of the connectivity? The industry 2.0. Thank you. Thank you, Pari. So industry 2.0 was an intense manual work and that connected a industry 3.0. You might be thinking, oh man, then the connectivity is already there now. Then why the industry 4.0? Very nice question. Thank you. Thank you, Sharma. So Rohan Sharma. So if you look at it, why we needed a 4.0, there is a different altogether a ball game from now onwards. The connectivity what we gave was all in silos. No connectivity was full. So give me an example when you are seeing industry, you might be deploying a lot of products. Give me an example you might be thinking. Let me give you an example. Take a smallest example, which we deployed recently. I'll give you. There is a shop. The shop manufactures pizzas or even burgers. As you order, you go into the shop, you just press a button, you order. What used to happen in the industry 3.0? You used to order. What they used to do, morning 6 o'clock or the 9 o'clock when the shop opens, they used to switch on the fryers. Look at the national waste and how the national waste getting into such a beautiful use case in a smallest shop. And then think about a biggest factory with this example, okay? Everybody pay attention. So the smallest shop, which we are selling a product, let's consider. So at 9 o'clock, they used to switch on their all the fryers because they have to prepare these all things, French fries, etc., which are all fried. Taste means fries, correct? You have to fry, then the taste automatically it will come. So these industry, they switch on their fryers at morning 9 a.m. They switch off it when the shop shut down, maybe 11 p.m. They switch off the fryers. That means the oil used to boil so much. The guy who tastes at 9 a.m. versus the guy who tastes at 11 p.m. It's totally different. Any woman on this call will understand if you are frying a puri at the beginning versus at the end, puri shapes will be different, or even the smell of that puri will be different. If you're going to even the marriage halls, you will know what happens if you go at the end and eat that last puris, right? The fried oil is going to be different. That industry is how it is changing, sir, because of the connectivity of the sensors. As the order is pressed, then only the fryers will switch on. The chemistry changes and becomes, yeah, thanks, Shiva Kishan. So if you look at it, seriously, I don't want to deviate, take the topic to a different, I want to stay on the industry 4.0. So even though I'm much aware of some of the things, but I'll not be spelling it because I want to make sure we continue our use cases discussion and go through this journey together. So that the smallest shop, right, is now getting equipped with all the Wi-Fi. Now the medias are changing. As I told you just a few minutes back, Wire technology is evolved from all the way from Cat 2K, Cat 3K, Cat 4K, Cat 5K, Cat 6K, Cat 7K. What are these Cat? They are not cats. They're all cables. That means each cable has a different capacity. Lot of technology got involved in this cable. PoE got evolved. Cable specs. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cable specs. You're absolutely right. Lot of capability these cables started using. Earlier, they used to carry 2-pair cables, used to carry only the data. Now the 4 twisted pair cable can carry a data as well as your power. That is the big change which you are going to see. These are all space in where it's all placed in the industry 3.0 itself. What is then industry 4.0, sir? As I was telling you an example of a smallest shop. The smallest shop, from the ordering, the silo systems are becoming more centralized communication system. A guy will order as soon as he drives in, he will press the order, he will do a phone pay. As soon as the phone pay is done, depending is an order, the level of heat will be generated at the fryers, and is whatever is required, the intense, whatever is required, that much of oil will be heated, and the sensors will know those communication. And these communication on one shop will be centralized and sent to a management station to make sure the oil is proper, how much oil is required or not, all of that information for a smallest shop, How many shops are there? Maybe probably in one of the layout, 10 shops are there. Another layout, there are another 10 shops are there. Throughout the globe, there may be another hundreds, 2,000, 3,000. So these supply chain management, my dear friends, pay attention. Hello. So these supply chain management itself, how many of you think it's easy? What is Industry 3.0? Industry 3.0 made the silos of the network. Yes, there was one sophisticated, all the connectivity was there. The cable industry was fine. There they had the connectivity. They connected everything. It was Wi-Fi was working. You go and order Wi-Fi, fine. But they used to wait for the supply chain. They never had the bread. In another 2 hours, the bread used to get over, but they never got the bread to that shop. But now, this is the simplest example you can tell to your students. But now, before the bread gets over, the centralized management station will get to know the bread or whatever the supply chain management required, even including a small sensor not working in that fryer machine, will come to know to the centralized platform. The repairer for that or the bread supplier will reach the shop on time before the problem occurs. So Industry 4.0 is a proactive connectivity and resolution, where the Industry 3.0 gave a birth for the industry to connect using all media, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, wired. As I told you, your lifetime, you can spend your life itself in wired or in wireless or in the other connectivity mechanisms like Bluetooth, Zigbee, IoT connections. Your lifetime will be over if you pick up any of these three medias itself, not even going to the application space. Let me stop here for a minute to make sure everybody is alive and listening.
आ रहा है अभी कौन पूछ रहा है
Hi, Anil, please go ahead. Can someone unmute yourself and talk for a 1 minute? Whatever I till now said, does it really getting into you and make sense for you? If I have to go down, I can go down still lower because my intention is to get for everybody whatever I'm speaking. Otherwise, it's not of no use, isn't it? We speak for 1 hour. So somebody, can you unmute yourself? Is it it's all fine from the audience? So this is the feedback. I do a lot of technical marketing now because I changed my engineering to marketing. When I do any conversation, any presentation to a AMS, that means America's time zone, there will be so many 100 to 200 questions. When I do it for the EMEA, there will be a questions of 50 to 60. When I do it for the APJ, EMEA means European countries, UK and European countries. When I do a presentation for Asia Pac, you know what's the number of questions would be? Like 4 or 5. So you see the ratio from 200 all the way it came to 4 or 5. It's like a 2% versus the what I see from the other side. It's a casual way we behave like all Indians, because we go for a thinking mode in a discussion mode. That's what happens. Please, anybody unmute yourself, and even you can show your face. Is it intact? Mahajan, Vivek, is it intact? Are we speaking right? Are we understanding something, ma'am? Yes, it's okay. I can see ma'am video, but not the voice. Thanks, ma'am. So anybody else, guys, somebody wants to speak, it would be very helpful for me to connect my whole discussion once I start presenting. Are we going in the right direction? As I told you, it's not problem with you. It's a country itself. The whole Asia Pac. Asia Pac contains from all the way from Japan, where the sun rises, all the way it goes through, right? So the complete Asia Pac is like this. So we speak. There will be less questions usually, and less discussions. That's you might see in your classrooms also, isn't it? Okay. With that, let's get started. I just want to you have to see some small video, and we'll discuss more on that video in few minutes. That's not, I'm not going to play the voice because I don't know, voice will be heard to you. So I'm going to mute this thing. I'm just going to show something which is it's currently in the discussions, right? Let me know, are you able to see the screen? Please use the chat window, my dear friends, because I can't see otherwise. Is it visible for you? You guys are able to see something?
Yes, sir.
YouTube? Okay, thank you very much. My dear friends, just watch this one for a minute, right? Just watch the video. Don't worry about what is happening at all. Just watch the video. There was one human, right? There was one human you saw. You can see this car is getting moved, correct? Very nice. You can see these aluminum foils. Let's wait. These are all some of our customers, okay? So similar customers we have, and we work with them day in, day out to solve many problems like this. You can see this. Think of this way, my dear friends. This is a weighing, maybe probably you might be thinking 1 kg. Let's consider it as a 1 kg. Let's always solve the problem in a smaller way, right? It's a 1 kg and somebody is lifting us for every day. That guy is lifting that 1 kg and putting it to my home. Suddenly, whoever lifting that machine has one problem in that screw. Instead of working at 10 km/h, it started working at 2 km/h. Instead of working at 10 km/h, it started working at 2 km/h. Do you see an impact? No. What is the problem? Yeah, 1 kg of rice, putting it to my house. It's okay, sir. Yesterday, half a kg was there. I will prepare using that one only. No problem, sir. Nothing will happen. Think of this way. There is an oxygen cylinders which has to be supplied from one vendor, like a GE has to supply to another vendor in Bangalore, or supply to a hospital in Bangalore. It's 100 kgs and it was lifting at a 10 km/h. And suddenly it started working at 8.5 km/h or even 9.9 km/h. Is that okay? The oxygen cylinder will come only 10 minutes delay. No problem, right? It's the same like problem, like 1 kg of rice, same machine. I manufactured the same machine that was lifting 1 kg, and I gave the same machine to lift another oxygen cylinder, which may be 100 kgs. But there it started working at 2 km/h. Here it is started working at 9.9 km/h. It does not matter, sir. How many of you say? This is what you have to tell your students. This is what you have to tell your students. It's not solving the problem or not finding the solution, finding the optimal problem solving solution. And it's an effective solution. And is it an efficient solution? That is where the focus should be. Yeah, every problem can be solved. There is no doubt. But can it solve as its scale? Can it solve in different environmental conditions? Is what the solution which you have to thrive for from all the faculties which I request. When you're giving a project, the same student might have solved the same project in the last year. Same problems. But same problem you can give to a next student, ask him to solve it efficiently, ask him to optimize it. Resource constraints. For example, you might be thinking resources are abundant. I will ask you a questions. If you guys are all well known, you will know this one. There is a memory, right? You guys know there is in all the devices we get a memory. The memory write operation, is it a finite or infinite? Anybody, can you please use the chat window and tell me? Is it a finite or infinite? Sir, I can save till my death. I can use the system which I bought this mobile phone till the death. I will use it, sir. I can save. I can keep taking photographs. Finite cycles of write and rewrite. Beautiful, Shiva Kishan. Shiva Kishan, can you please unmute yourself for a minute? I just want to see you and hear your background 1 minute. Shiva Kishan, sir.
Yeah, this is Shiva Kishan.
Hi, Shiva Kishan.
I worked in different types of industries before coming back. So I know Backbone and others because I was responsible for implementing SAP in an industry. And they said they need very high bandwidth. They wanted a fallback option for internet connectivity because the management was very keen on implementing HANA. So that is when I need to learn all of this, but my background is actually civil engineering.
Very nice. Shiva Kishan. You are called as Kishan or how you are spelled?
Yeah, Shiva Kishan.
Okay, I'm very glad. Where are you from, Shiva Kishan?
I'm from Bhimavaram. It's in coastal Andhra Pradesh.
Andhra Pradesh. Okay, I'm very nice to talk to Shiva Kishan, and I see some of the responses very nice. So Shiva Kishan, just to answer you, is a finite. You're absolutely right. So any memory we get, any memory. We always think like that it is infinite. People think like that I bought a computer for 1 lakh rupees and I can keep it for my lifetime. That is not true, my dear friends. Why? Because every computer operations are finite. That means the chip which is given to you, the memory chip which you buy, it's a 256 or whatever it is, that chip will have a finite set of operations, which may be in the lakhs or 2 lakhs or maybe in crores, but that is as a end. Every chip will end. So if you buy any system, any digital systems, remember it has a finite set of operations and it will have number of years of how you use it. For example, you use a computer very, very often to store, retrieve data and all. You might get that memory problem after 2-3 years. You might be seeing it in your home. You might have given your kid a new laptop. The kid might be already saying, you know what, it has become slow compared to last year. Yeah, possible. Some of the memory locations go waste, right? They cannot be reused. So those all things happens. It's because it's end of the day. It is digital. Digital equals to finite. It is not, computers will not solve infinite problem. A computer only solves a finite defined problem, correct? That's what it is. As I was telling you, as you saw a video, this is the big change, my dear friends, which is happening in the industry 4.0. What I showed you is a plant, which is one of the company, we might have seen the brand of the company there itself, which has taken over the complete car industry today. The car industry ran for 100 years, 200 years. In front of them, these car industry, the new company which came in, it has taken over the market cap. How many of you understand the word market cap? It's a very simple word, right? Market capitalization. So that market cap has been taken over by this company, the new company, and within a very short amount of time. What is they did? They did only one thing. They adopted digital transformation. What is adopted the digital transformation? They used wherever and wherever it is possible to connect everything. They connected from all the way from Wi-Fi, Zigbee, or the wired connectivity. They used to the fullest, and everything is accessible through an IP or through at least a maximum through a Bluetooth or a Zigbee connection. Because of that, they are able to manage and deliver to the customer expectation within no time delays. They commit for the delay, they deliver it. How? It is not, as I just told you, ordering at a 9 a.m. the guy gets a fresh bread, fresh oil, everything fresh. But 11 p.m. guy also should have the same taste, isn't it? So that is the supply chain management you need. Not only supply chain management on the one of the branch, it is supply chain management on all the branches across the globe. Somebody should take care, means That is how we are making the Industry 4.0 as a seamless connectivity of the every system which was connected in silos. I said a lot. I said a lot in last 2-3 sentences. Let me break for a minute. Slow down. Hello, somebody yells like Radhakishan. Parik, can you please? Everything is clear. And thank you. Parik, it's not that I'm doing a clarity. It is more of a discussion as I'm telling you. Parik, can you please unmute yourself and show your face? I would like to just say hello to you. Thanks for you are a global man. As I tell you, that's another intent I have in this call. I want to make sure you all speak. You all have your opinion to raise. Thank Parik. Nice to see you, Parik. What do you do, Parik?
Namaskar, sir. I'm senior assistant professor at ISIM Jaipur. And here I'm taking the classes for mobile application development and network connectivity in cryptography. Previously, I have also worked as a system administrator at Rajasthan University. There, my responsibility was to administer the servers and their network, as well as the establishment and the solution for the network solution.
Beautiful.
And I love the networking. I am CCNA and CCNP certified and RHC certified.
Oh, very good. Whatever I am speaking, does it make sense to you, Parik?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. Stay like that. I'm very happy, Parik. What you should do, as you are saying, crypto. You are already in the cryptocurrency world, cryptography, right?
Yes, sir. I teach cryptography and.
Okay. So one thing I would request you is cryptography. You are already teaching. You know how the encryptions are done, decryptions are done. So it's a very nice thing. Maybe you should tell maybe later point of time, maybe 1 or 2 sentences. The teaching is one thing. Convincing this 97 audience. My goal is not the one person like Parik or the Shiva. My goal is the 97, all the audience. Can they go back and tell some of the students a real genuine problem? And hey, we are geared up and let's solve it. For example, you, as you said, encryption and decryption itself is a big topic, Parik, today. Yes. We struggle every day. I don't know, you know, the latest one, the Linux exposing the root access to all the local users. Have you seen that one?
Yes, sir. I'm also the member of the Linux world.
Linux world. Okay, then you might be knowing the latest
Fedora Reddit administration.
Very nice. Last month we got that bug. It's a security bug.
Yes, sir.
Look at it, right? Linux has been told, my dear friends, those who don't know what is Linux, Linux is just an operating system. As we are speaking, a English language, a language is an operating system. Same way, Linux, think of it like an operating system for the system to communicate inside the devices. When I manufacture a computer will have a memory, it will have a CPU like our brain, and also it has a legs and hands, that's input and output devices. For all of them to communicate, you need a one OS. What we are speaking, like we are all speaking one language. We all understand this language. Same way, inside each of this, there are a lot of small vendors sitting inside. One guy will manufacture memory. You guys know who are all those. One guy manufactures the CPU. You know who is the CPU super guy from the days of so many days? It's Intel, right? Then AMD. Now you can see NVIDIA. So many companies. If you want to do a project and tell your students, hey, you know what? Go and find out 10 companies in the CPU, 10 companies in the memory, 10 companies in the storage, 10 companies in the server. Once they find out, they come to you. You find out, go to their data sheet, understand what they're doing. Tell your student the same thing. Hey, they're doing something in 2022. Giving a project is so easy, is it not, Parik?
Sir, we do the research project paper presentation in our college. It's a part of our curriculum, in which the at the first year they are given the task to find out the companies, IT companies, and how they are working. Then in the second semester, they are being given the task to take in-depth knowledge of those companies, their working mechanism, and how they are integrating the web and the mobile application technology and networking in their working. Then in the third semester, they are required to prepare a report of how actually the algorithms are implemented over there for the security work, for the automation work, and for the say we can say the dynamic works. The dynamic works they are pressurized to learn those algorithms and cram up them. so that they get the real sense of what they have learned in the first, second, and third semester in the theory work.
Beautiful. What a nice thing, guys. This is a very good best practice if you ask me. Before you teach your curriculum, why I'm connecting this world with everybody is you look at it, how nicely it is something. You don't have to worry about so much about kids win if you practice these kind of best practices. One best practice, what he said, I would like to underline. In the first year itself, give a mandate that not only listed companies, unlisted companies, that's some small change which you have to bring in your college. You have to tell the students, find out the unlisted startup companies. For example, you can ask, what are those type? For example, you last few years back, there is a company called Gigamon, Zscaler, Palo Alto Networks. These were all not listed, but they were all existed. So what you have to ask, one is existing companies. They are very giant. You will get to know their models. Their data sheets are published because they have to sell to a customer. They have to publish all the data. There is no doubt. But there are companies which are in niche market, which is very important for the students to crack their entrance. So you have to tell your students while they do the project, it is very good to understand the market leader. At the same time, they need to understand the niche startup companies. So my request to you, Parik, because the whole intent of this is faculty development and end use is our citizens, our students should get best benefit. So if you ask me, you should give another project to this because students are complete energetic. They are like high power, right? So you can tell them to do another project, find out all the startup companies in the space of security, for example. Which kind of security they will come and ask? Students are ones who will ask a lot of questions.
Yes, sir.
You should not deny their questions. Every question is so valid. Okay, so valid.
No, sure, we do. We will inculcate this in our curriculum. Also, we do not stop the students for asking the question because I am also a same student who asks at least 40 questions in a class.
Yeah, that's
but
where,
that is the question bank.
That's where in the complete audience, you are able to say something which is going to be adding a value to others because you ask those questions, 99 people are getting it. And also Shiva Kishan also able to get some of the details from you guys, right? So that is something important. And my request to you is enable that with the students and that is going to change their family. At least we'll not want to change the country or the world, but at least their family will be taken care.
Even sir, we get more knowledge because they gather the data more what we have.
Yeah,
even our database get updated that these companies are also in the world.
Yeah. I'll tell you why. When I go to a customer, I most of the instead of I speak and present my product, I listen from them. Same thing you should do. Your customer is a student. So why I'm telling you this one is now whether I have information or you have information is wrong. I only know it's completely wrong. Earlier days that was there. The silo which was there in Industry 3.0, but Industry 4.0 silo is not there. It's all. So because of the fingertips, they can get each and every information, whatever I'm saying, even now, that information also they can get it. They can get because I have family, you also have family, you have to eat all of that. But students can leave all of that 24 hours they can look at.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Even sir, when I had introduced the mobile application development in our college, in our university, I had only started with simple mobile applications of one or two activity. But one of our student, her father has the business. She had asked me, sir, can we develop a web application and then transform it to a mobile application?
Beautiful.
It is not
question
that everything is impossible.
I'll tell you a big business use case. You know, Mintra.com, you might be knowing, right? Yes. So they actually, their revenue went down within 1 year because they completely stopped the web application. They only gave a mobile app. 1 year, they were all completely, you can tell your students, my dear friends, it is not developing something which is going to be niche in the market. Many people, they use the app for just to see, but when they want to order, they go to the system. What Mintra did is they removed the system. 1 year, their market share went they completely went down. So only the app business they were thinking because we gave a mobile app, people will order through the app. So that's something very important. I'm very happy. Thanks for your all feedback. And what I was telling you on the, I also have some of the patents on the encryption and decryption algorithms. Very nice area. A lot of research can be done. If you have questions, sir, what is a patent versus a RFC versus a IEEE? If somebody has that in mind, what is the difference? If you don't know, please use the chat window. I will answer during my discussion. If you know it, then perfectly fine. So no problem. So let's coming back to what is happening on the industry side, right? Thanks, Parag. Good job. So coming back, if you look at it, this changes what has been there on the connectivity world is changing the silos to a centralized system. Then what kind of challenges we have in front of us? Okay, you might be thinking what kind of challenges we have. I would just narrate you a small use case where you will think about, oh man, it is not a small, it is such a huge business. So people have, as you guys, we think always everything is fresh. Oh, understood. Industry 4.0 is understood and it's easy to implement. But just go back for a minute and understand this one. We are not starting these all things today itself. That means all of these industries are not giving a birth in 2022. When they gave a birth, maybe 150 years back. When they gave birth, maybe 100 years back. When they gave birth, 50 years back or 10 years back. When they gave birth, from that point of time, they have been alive and they're doing the business. To do the business, they brought a lot of equipment into their factories. Look at the complexity, my dear friends. The guy who is starting in 2022, he can go, why Tesla was able to go so far compared to a Ford. Ford was a 150 years business. In order to adopt and change their plant, manufacturing plants, supply chain, everything, they need time. When in case of Tesla is able to get in and they are making a business today and every connectivity, what they wanted, they can get it of today's standard. Where in case of a Ford, because it's a large, or even if you take a Maruti Suzuki, it's a large system connected with so many stores and supply chain. In order to make that as a digital, just to convert that analog to digital, it's like a LIC versus a new insurance company. How many of you understand what I'm saying? LIC to convert my grandfather policy to just a mobile apps where you can pay the bill. We think, what is this LIC? Is not able to convert our paying a bill. That many handful of papers getting converted to a digital platform is a huge task by itself, my dear friends. The complexity is there for the industry 4.0. Why you all have to learn this one is something which very important, and you should get it in your mind that industry 4.0 is going to stay for next 1 or 2 decades. What we have done in industry 3.0 is just a 10% of what we have to see in the world of connectivity in future. The rest 90% of the connectivity is still pending. As I give you examples, a small example, which is a legacy of 150 years company. Take an example of why we are not able to see the BHEL succeed or any other old companies, legacy companies, the government sector companies, BSNL is not able to succeed to the level it needs versus a Geo. Right? There is a complexity involved and adoption is required so fast. So agility is required, isn't it? Is it a small use case converting your small college to a digital to a non-digital to a digital? Yeah, it's a good. We did it, sir. When 1 year we were not a digital company. Now we are digital, sir. Fully examinations are digital. Everything is digital. We are going through. Our students are writing digital scripts. This comes to me and I validate all of that. Bangalore University gave a same day result this year and it made a record. That's what I saw in the newspaper. Why? Because they converted their all system to digital system. That is the amount of change which you will see in the connectivity world. I'll give you a smallest example, which I was telling you on a hours basis, oxygen cylinder and all, right? I'll give you another use case, which is a very fantastic thing. Let's see some slides, so that way you will enjoy this overall discussion in a minute. I'm not going to use a lot of slides to bore you guys, so whatever I'm just going to skip, please, I'm going to skip. As I was telling you, the connectivity will involve wired, wireless, and a connection like Zigbee or a Bluetooth. If you don't know these technologies, as I told you, your lifetime you can use those technologies. Are you able to see the same screen as I'm sharing? Full screen of where the AI is seen, where my mouse is moving?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my dear friends, as I told you, there were maximum in 3.0 technologies like wired, wireless, and Bluetooth. These are involved. I don't know how many of you know. I just want to introduce another key important thing to your mind, that 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. Just do a small studies on that one, maybe a 1 hour study on each of this. You will get some details around that one. But 4.0 is going to change a lot. It is going to add, for every connectivity, it is going to add a new word called smart. You might be thinking, what is the smart is? Smart means you say something, I do a little bit of processing and give you a little bit more information. That is called smart, right? For example, I'll ask for, I don't know the word meaning, word meaning I don't know, I will ask. So you will ask and that person will process it. He will tell you a word meaning along with another sentence. That is called a small example of a smart. That kind of a details are going to evolve. That is a ML example, what I told you. You say a word, that word will do some little bit of calculation. He will put the new word for you. Along with that, he will put a sentence also in front of you. That is a ML. There is another, depending on these MLs, there is a something else is going to evolve. That is called AI. The AI will tell you not only for that instant answer, it will also going to do a predictive problem solving. Hey, you know what? If we are running like this, I can tell you by February 28th, we will be having these many problems. That is the AI. Artificial intelligence is, it will use some of the data of existing and it will calculate what is going to come in front so that you can solve. So instead of worrying about that one, let's see the one slide which I would like to spend some minutes and talk about. There are a lot of things in this slide which I can spend for 1 hour. In this itself, I can spend 1 hour. Wi-Fi, wired, robo, all of this I can spend 1 hour and give you 100 examples which I do every day, use case deployment with the different customers. But just to get something, get into your mind of how connectivity is changing, watch the next slide. Watch this portion of the slide. This person is sitting somewhere in the world. You may not understand until unless you work in an industry and solve this problem. It's one of the very big critical problems to solve. He's sitting somewhere in the world and trying to move a crane or a different set of equipments he's trying to drive. Please think of this way, you are building such a huge construction and that crane operator is sitting somewhere else and there is no backup for that person. That person is trying to operate the same machine, how he was operating sitting on that machine from a remote location. The precision which is required to move those large equipment while he operate this kind of a machine is what the problem will be solved in Industry 4.0. I will stop for a minute just to think for you guys how Industry 4.0 is so valuable and why it's going to stay for 2 or 3 decades going forward, and why you have to tell your students, my dear students, learn about what all technologies required in the Industry 4.0. Technologies required in the Industry 4.0, we'll have a slide I'm going to discuss, but you need to tell your students Industry 3.0 is about connectivity, wired, wireless, and Bluetooth, Zigbee and all. Everything is connected in silos. What is going to happen in Industry 4.0 is connecting all of this to a centralized, and the new keyword will get added to all the connectivity is smart. That is what the Industry 4.0 is. Okay. With that smart, because it is connected, you will not have any expertise, whether he is a local or a remote, the job will be, output will exactly same as before. Example for that, is it proven, sir? Whatever you are saying, this is an example as I was talking about. You can take a look at this one, how the market cap has been taken over by a red block here. The red block is increasing as you see here. Many other companies were there in the world, there is no doubt. But as you see, Tesla completely dominated the whole car industry within few years from 2017 to 2021. Even today, there are many other car industries, right? If you go to the other Western countries, you get to hear a car by all the European cars models and also the American brands. But today, most of those highlighted where the money is going is to one automaker, that is Tesla, right? This is how industry can change with a small adoption, not full adoption of Industry 4.0, a small adoption which they have done and showcase this is going to change the industry. Okay, this is the data. It's not prepared by me. It is published data from one of the market publishers. Last 70 years, if you need a slide, this is a slide you should show it to your mainly to your students, because you are a faculty and such data will be very helpful for them. What happened, and show me the history of how the evolution of the industry has happened. This slide has been taken some time to prepare, so please take a look at this one. And everything, whatever sir was discussing, Parikh and also Shivakishan, is some extent is captured here. I can go through this complete journey. This is also history for me. I didn't work in these years, but I have started working from 2000 onwards. Each one of this I can talk for hours. What happened in 2000 graphic industry, how the GPUs came, all of this, because I stayed in the industry, I wanted to learn, so I can talk for hours. I'll stop for a minute. You can observe these slides and let me know any of these things if you want to understand, right? Not Parikh, not Shivakishan. I would like to hear from someone else now. Anybody wants to speak? Okay, I don't see the faces. Let me unshare. Yes, sir. 12. Okay, now 12, not 8. Is it one word Morse law? Okay, one word on Morse law. Okay, please, ma'am, please unmute yourself, Shivakishan. Not Shivakishan, we spoke. Yeah, please unmute Shivakishan. You want to say something? Please go ahead. I just want to make sure we are all going in the right direction. Anybody else, guys, except Parikh and Shivakishan? Anybody wants to just say one word? No, I meant slide can be summed up as yeah, one word. Yes, of course, Morse law. No doubt, there is definitely a demand, right? So this is driving everything. Anybody wants to speak? Anyone else? This is almost like 90 people, only 2 people. That means it exactly shows what I said, 2%. Change it, guys. As I'm telling you, I'm your friend, so you can ask any type of question. So I'll try to answer with my limited knowledge on these directions. Okay, let's move on. As I told you, this industry has changed, and I think we are. Many people define this with a very different definitions, but I would like to take this as only one. Connectivity is done. It's a smart. It's going to change. What is going to change? What are the new things which are going to get added because of this change? As you guys see, you are seeing the robots, right? What is this robots? Robots were there from so long, but these connected robots are changing the world. For example, connected robots, as I told you, every section of the robot, including from the all the way from the each one of the eyes to the arms to the legs, everything will be a sensor world. Every motion of those sensors, like companies like ABB, please write down and do a research. So these companies will measure the robots operations. Any change in the robots behavior, they know that it's going to impact the overall plant. That's where the robots are going to evolve. And if you're telling your students, any ENC professors or teachers, this space is something need to be watched, and you need to tell them, hey, you know what? Any embedded device which you're thinking, think of it's like a robot, because you are coming from a background of VLSI, Verilog. So you can think of these kind of devices, manufacturing a small robo for a campus. How you are going to manufacture that, how efficiently it can handle. Can it scale? If you are carrying a load in the campus, a books, can it scale to a larger extent? Can you write an algorithm like that? So those are the complex problems you can tell students. And the new age of manufacturing, this is something very, very important. There you are going to learn the supply chain management. Supply chain management is a huge topic by itself. Earlier days, people used to go to different countries to sign a physical paper to get the transfer of some of the equipments. But now it's all changing. This is the time it is changing. I don't want to say it is already changed. This is now it is changing to a bigger extent. Everything is becoming digital. The global countries are participating. Each countries to country, every digital transformation, certificates are getting exchanged and the supply chain management is coming up. And there is a lot of work is happening. If your students are interested in supply chain management, if somebody asks to solve a complex problem, you can tell him, as I told you, a smallest problem was bakery. A bakery wants to scale it to a 1 place to 100 places, 1,000 places, how he's going to manage the supply chain and what all things required. That's a new age of manufacturing. These are the also different names people will use when they talk about Industry 4.0. Don't get confused. If somebody says robot revolution, please tell them, yeah, it's part of Industry 4.0. If it is a new age of manufacturing, it's Industry 4.0. If it is a smart factory, smart industry, if somebody says that is also Industry 4.0 definition. Or there is another IoT. Yes, there is a name itself. It's a very big word. People call it as IoT, and earlier days people also call it as IoE. IoE is Internet of Everything. Give me 1 second. Let me take this. Sorry, people will know I also run through a lot of meetings. I was carved out this time for particularly for this. That's why I keep getting called from my office. So this is so people will see IoT as I told you, Internet of Everything. I was there, I think so. Internet of Everything is something like they never saw, which is a world which will be having any digital device which is not connected. Every device, even though it is an analog device of a old 180 years old device, they will find a way to connect it. That's what the IoT means in the manufacturing unit. I don't know how much of the complexity you guys are understanding until you see a factory. Please visit if you really feel people are now new digital factories are coming up from Tata, and our manufacturing units are coming up in Gujarat and also in Tamil Nadu. If you are nearby anywhere, find out from Google new plants in Tata Motors or so. Just visit. That way you will know how much of money is spent. End of the day, we are all in IT business. We go after the business making, right, where the deployments are. So if you ask me, you will get to know the complexity why we are discussing all of this. There is a word, another word, everything is connected or everything smart. All of this is a definition by itself for the Industry 4.0. Let's move on. As I was telling you, wired, wireless, cellular, any of the means of connectivity is fine. They're all included as part of the Industry 4.0 as a technology. If you just don't know about how these Gs are, I'm not going to spend too much time on these Gs. Telephone line was an analog communication that was a 64 kbps line. After that, 2G is nothing but giving a option for you to make sure a voice and a text is called the 2G, and 3G, as you guys know, it's not only giving you a connectivity from your text or from your analog only voice. You can also use the internet to send messages. Earlier date, what you used to use the text messages and the PSTN line. If you just write down, please, and then do a check on the PSTN lines. What is PSTN lines? It is used to carry a telephone industry was totally different. Earlier days, telephone industry was totally different versus the internet industry. People who are birth of 1990, they might have not even understood what is telephone lines industry versus the data industry. But today, everything is data industry, correct? So that is what changed from 3G onwards. Okay, this is the internet connection which changed the voice, text, everything carry over the internet. So versus the dedicated lines of the voice. Okay. 4G is evolution of the cloud, which you are seeing. Amazon, you might have seen AWS cloud, Google cloud, Microsoft cloud. This is coming from all the way from a silos of their data center. I don't know how many of you understand the word data center. Data center is like just like think of your college. College has some place where they keep all the files and store your all college information. That is your data center. Suddenly your college has 2 or 10 branches. That means everybody should come to that data center where your home branch is there. Instead of that one, they can directly go. If they're in Andhra Pradesh, one guy is from Karnataka, one more branch is in Karnataka, another branch is in, let's consider, in Rajasthan. So now instead of coming to everybody going to Rajasthan as the home branch, they can directly straight Rajasthan talk to the cloud, AWS cloud of your college, and Tamil Nadu can talk to the cloud of AICTE. AICTE is a good example. And also same with the other Karnataka branch. They all can talk to directly to the cloud without compromising on the data security. This is a very big topic, guys. People are like engineers, like many engineers are working in this today, making, you know, how the IT industry, they are making huge amount of money. This is evolving crazily. It is not yet stopped. It is going. You name it. The cloud development cloud offerings are going crazy on all direction. Not only just connectivity, lot of things are industry evolutions are happening. Telemetries are going up, analytics is going up, data science is going up. So everything is involved around the cellular connectivity. What we had earlier, they're using the same WAN and using these all technologies from the cloud. So 5G is just launched, as you guys know. It will take its own time. Similarly, as you guys thinking about wireless, any professor or a teacher who has done anything on the wireless, publishing AEEE papers, patents, or RFCs? Okay. If you're not aware of that one, I don't want to touch too much on this. As I told you, I can talk about all of this for hours. So wireless is a technology. It's a kind of, you can think of, it's a based out of, most of the algorithms are based out of the wired technology. Same way the wireless got developed from all the way from 802.11ab till today 802.11ax, which is a Wi-Fi 6, and also people are already talking about 6E and 7. That is also coming. It's started discussing. So if you see all of these big changes, end of the day on the wireless, carrying, even to power up these wireless access point, you need a right power over Ethernet, because these will have antennas. You need a highest power to provide a IP addresses to all the Wi-Fi devices, like for example your mobile or any device which has a connectivity which can understand the IP stack, which need that it has to provide the IP address, isn't it? The reachability is required. End of the day, you need an antenna, and the AP should be fully powered. These APs are going to be more power savvy, so you need a, again, once you need a more power, that means power supplier, who is called as the power sourcing equipment, should be more capable. That means that the switch which is connected back to this access point, it should be having a capability to power up the access point. That means you need to change your switches in your environment. You need to change your access point, because access point, if you're not changing, you cannot get a more data on your mobile phone or your PC Wi-Fi, right? All of these are Wi-Fi today. So, or even your same with your factory plants, the lathe machine wants to communicate. If it is having a lesser bandwidth, it can communicate with a centralized server. So that's the reason you need a upgradation of all of these devices. You might be thinking where they make money in case of a networking companies like Juniper, Cisco, Arista, Aruba, any of these companies, how they make refreshing these networking devices. Because none of these devices, as I told you, only 25% or 10% of the world is connected in the digital transformation. We have yet another 90-95% of the digital transformation pending. And then after that, there is a huge smart world which is going to come in as AI and ML. These are all going to play a huge role in predictive analysis, analytics, data science. These are all things are evolving now. None of them have the constant discussion. You can't, we can say that for the industry 3.0, if you ask me about Cat 2K, Cat 3K, those are all stable industry. We can talk and show the standardization. But if you ask me about the new development which are happening, these are all evolving. There is no yet standards, and it will evolve and come up. But these Wi-Fi standards are already there, right? You can see on the screen. So what is going to come in future is something, as I was telling you, these data analytics is going to be more, and time sensitivity for all the supply chain management is more, and devices need more bandwidth. It's not easy for you to communicate on the same cycle when you used to go to your village. You cannot expect the same road to take the Volvo bus, correct? you need a better bandwidth because you have a Wi-Fi which is asking for more bandwidth. You have a sensor data which is connected to that Wi-Fi. A lot of sensor devices which are working on that robo, they need a connectivity to that Wi-Fi. Then when a Wi-Fi should send the data over a switch, and you are not looking for one access point. You are looking for the floor, right? The whole floor factory is now smart, right? That whole factory data has to be sent. That means you need a more bandwidth, more bigger roads. That means more bigger pipes if you're looking at from a data perspective, right? The cables bandwidth should be more. And apart from this, there will be a lot of analytics which will be driven. They want to make sure it is 99.99% available. The factory cannot go down even a single minute, whether the human resource is there or not. That kind of a predictive analysis they will do, make sure the network is always operational and it is providing the data what it's required as committed SLA. SLA means, so we have committed something to a next third party. Let's consider there is a the guy who is giving him batteries, Amber-on batteries or Excite. So these guys are giving us a batteries and he's committed for one of the manufacturing guy. So he has to provide that to a next guy, right? Like Tata Motors, he has to give that batteries to them. Otherwise their plant is going to be stuck. So are they providing at the right time? Those kind of details are going to be done. And the more key, as I was telling you, operating that store remotely. Earlier, what used to happen? It was there. The smart guy used to sit in that bakery and he used to switch on and switch off the fryers and all he used to do, but it is not scalable, right? The smart guy cannot be moved to a next shop. So that's where that smartness moving to a remote location, one guy operating the complete shops or the complete factory environment is very important, and that remote access is also coming. That is the change which the connectivity is bringing for us with the 3.0, and we are going to leverage that to make everything as smart as possible in the industry 4.0. Okay, history of communication. I don't know how many of you understand these all things. Watch this one for a minute. Let me stop here to just say, are we intact or some people are already lost? Hey guys, are you available? Service level agreement. Okay, who is this? Sandeep sir. Very nice. Sandeep, can you unmute yourself, show your face and say hello? Please, sir. Hi, Sandeep. Nice meeting you, Sandeep. I see a beautiful chart. You are not unmuted. You are on mute. Backside of you, I think looks like you have a kid. Your chart is visible. Can you unmute yourself? You're still muted, Sandeep. Now you are unmuted. You can speak now. Up. No. Mute. Unmute.
Yeah, I'm audible.
Now you are good.
Yeah. Actually, it's showing me muted and unmuted at that time. The session was very wonderful. I listened to each and everything. So, the service level agreement basically almost each and every industry is providing services nowadays. So that's why they're legally doing the agreement based on that.
Yeah, I'll tell you very good, wonderful example, Sandeep. Thanks for saying that one. SLA is something like this. Look at it this way. You are running a small schools and every school is connected by a Airtel. Your schools are connected and you will say, hey, it's Airtel. Can you guarantee me it is like all the connectivity is going to be there? And they will say, yeah, 100%. If connectivity breaks, it will come up within 3 minutes. That's a SLA you make and sign it. Take the same problem statement, my dear friends. Take the same problem statement. There are 3 hospitals. Same guy, Airtel connects it. One thing you have to observe here now, everybody should be listening. Same Airtel guy connects it. 3 hospitals. He says there 3 minutes. Can I use this same 3 minutes? There is an operation theater. He's operating hard. The surgeon is somewhere else in the world. And he's looking at that heart and he's giving instruction to one of the guy in Jaydev Hospital or the Apollo Hospital. He's giving instruction who is here. If it breaks, Airtel has said 3 minutes is the takeover time. The connection will revive at the 3 minutes. Every application, every industry application has different SLAs. Every connectivity depending on the application is so sensitive. Parik was telling that time SAP he was deploying ANA. SAP applications are very sensitive. They need huge bandwidth to run that application. They cannot run the application without that bandwidth, and they have to provide. For example, now we are doing a live session, right? It's a real time. If you have a disconnect in the real time, it's going to be a huge loss versus what I am doing versus an operation theater. The application is different, but the connections are same. Hope you guys are getting it. That's what the SLA means. In an industry, in a data center, they will be running many applications. Every applications need to have some amount of SLA. A Zoom call versus an email versus a SAP versus a ERP application. Every applications are different. One server going down, like what we are discussing. For example, I'm trying to pull a data in this session, it's okay. Versus a guy who is operating at an exchange, is trading at a New York exchange or Indian NSE exchange, and he's trying to book some profit. If the server goes down, let's consider at that minute, the impact is so huge. So for every application, the provider, ISP or the cloud provider today need to agree these SLAs. Okay, hope you guys understood. Thanks, Sandeep. That was nice. And also your backside of your chart was telling me that you have a kids. Happy family to you.
Yes. I'm having 8-year kid. So basically, the chat is for him only. So we're
Very
teaching
nice.
each and every concept.
Very
Yes,
nice.
thank you, sir. Nice
talking to you,
Thank you.
Sandeep. Yeah, it's as I told you, these are all mutual exchange. When I get a chance personally, usually I used to do this offline meetings as Nagesh sir and Bharti ma'am knows. I used to meet human beings offline, and I love to meet you guys if I get an opportunity offline also. And it's wonderful. Let's consider, and all the information what I'm using in this presentation are all available. If I get the slide, you can just get it and use those in your day-to-day practice, right? Everything is available on internet, and you can get a link also on bottom like this. You'll get a link or a kind of a logo where you can search and get more information. Here I can't put everything in the slide fitted. My intent, as I told you, is to give you more and more information. That's all. This is something students will be very much interested. Until unless you tell them a history, it is not difficult. It is going to be very difficult for those kids, because you will be teaching to a guys who will be born in maybe probably 1995 or 2000 time frame. So those guys, they will never understand the history. If they know the history, they solve the problem much better. And if they solve the problem in that way, it can go and fit into it wherever, any factory, they can go and fit that solution. And everybody, even in the interview panel, when they are answering, they will be able to connect. Otherwise, what happens is they pick up the 2022 problem and they try to solve it. They solve it very quickly because it's a 22 problem. No, the problem statement is not going to be applicable for the legacy. But what is required in the industry, as I told you, many industries in this today where they're going to get a job like Wipro, Infosys, or any human resource hiring or the product companies, they exist for more than like 50, 60 years. They need to hear a problem statement, very justified problem statement. Then they will be very happy. That's what they do in IITs and IIMs. What they do is they give a use case, which is of legacy use cases. They ask them to solve those legacy use cases. That way they find a solution which can be fit in very well with the today's environment, and also it is backward compatible. Okay, the backward compatibility is a very key word. In case if you don't know, search in Google and understand what is backward compatibility in technology. Technology is very important. Many companies doomed without giving a backward compatibility. For example, many CPUs, they were not able to succeed because they don't have the backward compatibility like Intel. Intel was able to give any kind of a programming language. What they did is that they keep on upgrading the languages, and everybody was able to understand their languages very well because they made that backward compatibility. What works in the last version continue to work in the next version and continue to work in the next version. No change, right? So that's a backward compatibility which is very required. The guy has done the last project. You give the same project to a next set of students. Tell them, hey, you know what? They have implemented these all things. They have done this much of work. You take this project to a next phase. When they do a next phase, they cannot say, no, sir, we can't integrate. That's a wrong thing. That's a very important thing. especially for IT engineers when you are giving a project. This slide is a self-explanatory. Take a look at this one, how the communication industry started. If you're watching your old movies, you will get to know. If they want to find out where the people are living, they just look at the sky. The sky will denote them. Hey, you know what? There is a smoke. That's where it starts. Same thing is today. You want to find out a person. You can find out from what? Wi-Fi. You put his ID, you know where is your friend. You are in the same Wi-Fi, you know the SSIDs, you connect to that SSID and you can find your friend. Exactly same. Earlier days you used to look at the sky. Now what do you look at? Your mobile. Correct? Tell your students the complete story. I'm not going to tell you a complete story which is going to take too much of time. I'm rushing because I have a meeting also. Where are we present? So this is something is a screen you should watch. The 3 people or 4 people who are sitting here, they're watching one screen. Observe in your home what happens today. 4 people sitting, even there is a one big screen, everybody watching their own screen. 4 people will be watching their own screen. That is the big difference. This is what the personal experience which is driving the market, especially the retail market. The consumer market is going personalized. So everybody will be watching their own devices because of the IP addresses. Each user in your home today, even my son today has at least 5 IP addresses. His laptop, his smartwatch, he has iPad. So like that, each user will have 5 to 6 IP addresses in their today's. Earlier days, there used to be one coaxial cable coming to this TV, and that's all. These 4 kids are watching that media. What is changing today because of the connectivity? Every kid will have at least minimum 5 to 6 IP addresses. In a college environment, oh my goodness, it's going to be much worse because they'll have a personal PC, they'll have an office, your school PC also, they'll have their smartwatch, they'll have their iPad, their iPhones, etc., right? So there will be much more IP addresses required, and that's a complexity which we are in. And it's not a complexity, as you see, it's a complexity, it's a challenge to solve. World is going to evolve, and that's where we are today. Where are we? So you can see how many millions of Apple phones are getting sold and how they are making money. This is a journey. Things have changed a lot from all the way you can see here. This picture to this picture. Yeah, it's not just a color. Things have changed. Whom you have to give a thanks to? Thanks to this data. Watch this data. Tell your students. This is the one of the key thing you have to tell your students. How the world connectivity is changing, my dear students. Understand before you do ERP solution, SAP solution, or any application development, the underlying technology is people are getting connected. So keep that in mind while you are doing any projects. This is what it's happening. This is the data which is taken in 2020, and this is a website you can go show it to your kids. In 2022, they will know the bigger numbers. Okay. So this is some time back. They asked a question. They did a survey. This is also, I think, 2020 time frame. They did a survey, asked, hey, do you need a partner? 43% said, yeah, I need a partner. I need my wife. I need my husband's or my girlfriend or a boyfriend. 43% they said yes. Somebody asked another question. Do you need a car? Yeah, 64% they said answered saying that yes, for sure we need a car also. There is another question asked. Do you need a laptops? 84% said, yeah, it's okay if we don't have a car, if I don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but laptop is required. This is done in 2020. But if they ask today with the mobile, I'm sure 99% they will say, I need a mobile. What is the choice between at this point of time, today, at the day of Feb 1st, if you go and ask a kid, hey, Feb 1st, do you need a girlfriend or do you need a mobile phone? For sure, that person will vote for 99%. They will vote for the mobile phone. If I have a mobile phone, it's much easier, right? That's what the kids will think or whatever it is. The generation is moving in that direction. That's how the industry is moving. If you want to tell your students what are the key major areas they have to focus, this is a question will be asked many times in my presentation. So that's why I put the slide. One is a big data. What is a big data and analytics? As I was telling you guys, Industry 3.0 made a silos connection. Industry 4.0 is trying to connect those silos connection. When we connect a robo, as you see here, this robo with not one connectivity of a wired cable, instead of that one, we connect with the 10 sensors. What happened? 10 sensors. And all the 10 sensors gives the data to one access point. That one access point will be connected to hundreds of robots like that, and that will send it to one switch. In a factory plant, think of there will be at least minimum 100 switches. So that data from one factory plant, my dear friends, for your imagination, I'm just telling you, consider there is a Maruti Suzuki service station near to your office or your home. That Maruti Suzuki service station is having 1 or 2 robots, and each of the robots has 20-25 sensors. It will reach the centralized Maruti Suzuki of that branch. Let's consider it's Mandavi. That data itself, my dear friends, is so huge. That is called big data. What is big data? The connected world, the generation of the whatever it observes, that all data reaches to a centralized place. That centralized place is called big data. Data without a smart analysis is a waste. It is like a dustbin. So you have to apply some analytics on that big data. There is a lot of job opportunity in this space. Lot of job opportunity. Big data analytics is one of the highest job opportunity today, because people are saying earlier how they used to say oil. Now what is the new oil? New oil is the data. Data is the new oil, they are saying. To world to run in future, data is going to be the new oil. In your college also, don't just give out your data. What your students are doing, everything what you should do. If you want to really take your college to a #1 position, you should apply Tesla. Remember, that's what the whole, if you ask me summarize, that's what I summarize. Remember Tesla, apply the same Tesla's principle to your college, you will take your college to #1. Apply all the digital techniques, and any data don't give out without analysis. For example, how many students came to college, what all they touched, what all they see, what they like. If you want to make a wonderful graph, make for 10 days. That is a project you can give to your students. Ask them to make the data. Next minute, you can come with a remediation, and the next process, okay, you can reduce the COVID cases automatically in your college, because you know where all they go, which places they more, what kind of principle you applied, and how you reduce COVID cases in your college. You can do a wonderful presentation, and that is what required for the whole world today to solve. That is depends on the big data analytics, my dear friend. Another one thing I wanted to say is augmented reality. This space is only currently in talks. Not too much is done, but it is evolving, and every student can take an opportunity to learn about augmented reality as an optional subject, and they can try few projects. The retail industry especially is going to change a lot in the augmented reality. So it is good to talk to your students and tell them what is augmented reality, how it's going to change the overall world. Okay, very, very important. Okay, this is like, you think about this way, right? The guy is sitting there, he's an expert, he has understood the Benz engine, and you cannot take the same expert and replicate in every corner of the world. As soon as the Benz car is released, right, it is very difficult, because he is the expert. He has just designed in 2022. What is meant by expertise? The guy who reads about it for a year, he is an expert, that's it. If you give it to another donkey, it will also read for a year or maybe 1.5 years, it will also become an expert. So there is nothing, please don't think one guy is smart and one guy is below. Everybody is same. It's the time, the duration, where they work, what they do, it defines them. That's all, right? So that Benz car expert is sitting somewhere. So what he will do, he will ask, the augmented reality is this one. You will ask few snapshots or the camera to be put on that Benz car. He will look at the internal parts and he will tell very clearly, this is what the part which is missing, and go and fix it. That is what the augmented reality without, and even in the operation theaters, you will see that one going forward. GE and all, they are working. GE Healthcare, if you do a Google augmented reality, GE Healthcare equipment, they are working heavy on the augmented reality projects. The next one is autonomous, autonomous word much better than me. Autonomous universities, all of that, you guys understand what is autonomous word is. I should not define, you should define. Autonomous robots are something which they take a decision by themselves in consultation with centralized server. Remember that word, very, very important, in consultation with centralized server. I can talk on this for hours, but I leave it there. Hope those who are listening, they will understand a little bit. You'll ask some questions at the end. Simulation, horizontal, the vertical system integration, these projects, as Sir was telling, one of the guys said, I was a system administrator. Things are changing. What is things are changing? Before anything deploy, they wanted to validate in the virtual world. They want to simulate. Sir, give me an example. There is a factory environment, consider it's a textile industry, all are working perfectly fine, their access cards are working, everything is working perfectly fine. One guy, that access card guy, a small industry guy, will come and say, sir, access card, we have upgraded the operating system. Can you please upgrade? I will go and upgrade. It's a small upgrade, no? I upgraded the operating system of that access card. What happened, you know, just as soon as I upgrade the operating system, none of the textile industry workers are able to come into office, or none of the robots, they are able to authenticate themselves. Oh my goodness. It's a big problem. So to solve that one, now industry is saying any upgrade, any downgrade, that is called as migration, I want you to simulate. Show me in my environment, not in your environment. Oh, it's in our tested environment, sir. In our, no, in my environment, in Rajasthan University, in Andhra Pradesh University, in ACS University, we have a different equipment because our birth was taken at a different time. So we brought different devices in our environment. You show. Oh my goodness, how we can show in your environment? You can't come and deploy. System administrator will understand what I'm saying. So what he will do, he will simulate the ACS environment, he will simulate a Rajasthan environment, he will simulate the Andhra Pradesh environment, and then he will test it out. This is the industry which is evolving. Tell your students, pay a lot of attention towards the simulation tools. Okay, that's very important. The next one, as I told you, it is beaten to the death, cloud computing. Lot of certifications have evolved because it's a decade, almost 2005 AWS, right? From 2005 till today, it's 15 years. A lot of certifications have come out. This is a wonderful opportunity because, as I told you, only 25% job is done. 70% job is still pending on the cloud. So a lot of cybersecurity, sir spoke about encryption, decryption. When there is a connectivity, 25% is connected, 70% is remaining. As we connect, as the more connections happens, more crime is going to happen. Privacy is a different word. Security is something which is going to play an important role in every aspect. So please ask them to pay a lot of attention. As I told you, this is also my very near to heart topic, cybersecurity, and I have done few patents on that. I can talk, as I told you, for many hours. IoT is another way. IoT is basically manufacturing cheap and small sensors with IPv6 stack. If student is capable, please ask them to do a cheap sensor, 10 rupees, 15 rupees cheap sensors, which can give some information. That kind of electronic students is going to be very important. All the above is applicable for all stream students. IoT, where it's very important, is for the students who are in electronics and communication. They can think about manufacturing a smallest sensors which can fit into any and everything of analog devices and provide some data will be useful. With this, I'll stop and allow you to ask some questions for next 5 minutes, and then we can say goodbye to everybody. Let me stop sharing and allow you to speak. Few of you please speak, guys. I know now Parik, I know Sandeep, Shivakishan. Thanks for you guys. I am very happy. I know Bharati ma'am. I know Nagesh sir. Few others, can you please unmute yourself if you're alive? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you
so
just,
any questions?
Yeah.
Any
please.
questions from the participants?
Next 10 minutes, we can hear from others. Anything they learned out of this session, they want to know more. I'll stay most of the time very tough to catch because travels are starting now. We go to the customer places, we travel across the globe. But I'll be very happy to take my email address, and you can always write to my me, or you can contact Bharti ma'am, Nagesh sir, right? So this is my email address. Email address is going to be easy. If you send me a mail on any of your students' projects, if I have to just review and anything like that, my Sundays I'll try to review and help that student. That's the goal of mine. This is my email address. Okay. And please, as madam is requesting, kindly anybody unmute yourself and speak, guys. I know you guys are wonderful guys. You have been doing a great job in helping students. I'm earning more money, but I'm not able to help students like you. That's something I always regret. Mohammed, it's Varsi. Please unmute yourself. Say hello, Varsi. I would like to. I have a one of my friend. He used to be my Cisco guy. Myself and him. He's now Cisco fellow CTO. You can walk. He's a very nice guy. Let me just show you. As I
Yes,
speak.
sir.
Yeah, go ahead, my dear friend. Varsi? Am I calling your name rightly, first of all?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Am I calling your name?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are called as Varsi, or see, I had one of my friend. I'll just show you why I'm calling. I am telling you is this is my another good friend. He's a CTO now in Cisco. So we used to call him Varis. So he's my good friend, and we both work for a very long time together. So that's why I was thinking, oh man, how come when I looked at your name, it came up just like that.
Actually, it's his name, and here it's my surname.
Oh, surname. What do you usually called as? How people will call you?
Shafkat. Shafkat.
Shafkat. Okay. So can you just tell me how was it? Did you learn something? I really hear your parrot sound, very nice sound at your background.
Yes, sir.
Which place are you from? Which place are you from?
I'm from Uttar Pradesh, Allahabad, Prayagraj.
Very nice, very nice. I hear your parrot sound very nicely. So, session was useful? Did you learn something, my dear friend?
Yes, sir. I've learned.
You learned something. Okay, nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else, guys? Another two folks, can you please speak? Okay. If you're not speaking, let me call one or two names so that I get to know. Apurva Mishra. So can you please unmute yourself 1 minute? Apurva. Okay. I think ma'am is not there. Arvind Kumar Pandey. So is it possible I can speak to Arvind Kumar Pandey, sir? No. Okay. Ashok, sir, is it possible you unmute yourself and say hello, sir? Many people are on hold. Maybe it is a lunch hour. I'm standing between you and your lunch, my dear friends. Very nice talking to everybody. I guess your madam Bharti ma'am. Bharti ma'am, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. It was a very nice session. Thank you. So this is the so you accepted our invitation, and you just as previously you were on the short-term training program session. So
Yep.
This is the second online there. That time you have given 4 sessions. So this is the
Yes.
5th session online session. Thank you very much. So
Yeah. Nice.
On behalf of our management, principal, and the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, we thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Balakrishna sir, nice to know you. Sandeep sir, I know you. Shivakishan sir, I know. I don't know. This is Radhi. How do you call this? It's Radhima. Divan, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Hari Krishnan sir. Everybody, very nice. Hari Harasudan. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm really very happy. You guys are really doing a wonderful job in your places. Keep doing, and I would definitely look forward to meet you in person, if possible. So please help your students, everybody, right? This is something my honest feedback to you guys. Students are always wonderful. They are very good kids. No kid is bad kid. As I told you, it's just any donkey can learn. It's a number of years we spend on that time. One guy can learn in 1 month, another person can learn in 2 months. Please help your students. They can come to industry, earn money. Their families will be safer, right? That's the whole intent. We have taken this roles. With that, thanks a lot for giving this opportunity, Bharti ma'am and Nagesh sir.
Thank you, sir.
All the professors, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day for you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
So attendance link just I have sent now. Please